Claude Code SEO Course. So you want to rank your site first on Google. You want to get a bunch of traffic off Google search, just like all of these guys right here, from 0 to 31,000 a month, 0 to 31,000 a month, 0 to 30,000, 0 to 17,000. You want to do the same thing. Not only that, not only do you want to increase your search traffic on Google, you also want to increase your brand mentions across LLM. So you want ChatGPT to mention your brand. You want Perplexity, any other LLM to mention your products or services. And in this long Claude Code course, I'm going to teach you step by step how you can do it. Now, because this is a very long video, I'm going to leave timestamps down below so you guys can skip ahead and choose the parts you want. That being said, it's going to be divided into 3 parts: the intro on page, then backlink building, and then technical. Okay, it's going to be a compilation of past videos I've made, all in this full-on hour-long course that by the end you should have every single thing you need to rank your site on Google, pull in a bunch of traffic, and also increase its mentions across LLMs just using Claude Code. Now, the very first step into using Claude Code for your SEO is to getting it installed in your computer. So of course, step 1 is just type in download Claude on Google and download the Claude straight from these guys' site. Now, I'm on Mac, I download the Mac version. If you're on Windows, download the Windows version. That's it. Now, once you're in, the first thing you need to know is that we have the chat tab. This works just like if you're using ChatGPT, right? And we have the code tab. We want to be on the code tab. Now, what you need to know is that the code stems from a file. So we're going to have to go into your desktop and create a new file and then open that file right here. So create any new file in a new folder and then open it up right here. So let's say I'm on my desktop right here. I created a folder in my desktop called Claude. I can call it whatever I want. I can call it test and just open it up right here, right? So now every single interaction, every prompt, all your work is going to be saved inside this folder. That's very important. So Claude Code is going to work inside of that folder. And any work you do, any work you ask it to do is going to take the context that's inside of that folder. Okay, so throughout this long hour course, I'm going to give you a couple of calls to action to download a couple of files. Those files, in order for you to be able to use them, you have to drop them into the folder that you just created. Okay, so now you can start to interact with it and just, again, do the whole workflows that we're going to be showing you step by step how to do in this video. So again, there's going to be a bunch of timestamps down below. Check them if you want to skip ahead. With that said, let's just get going and good luck. Okay, here are my 4 steps to getting cited or recommended or mentioned by LLMs in 24 hours using this new Claude SEO workflow. Okay, we're going to be using Claude for this. It's going to be a very boring video, but stick with me, excuse me, because I mean, it's going to be worthwhile. Now, let me just show you proof first things first. For the prompt, best auto blogging software for SEO, we did not use to show up right here. So right now we can see that all these LLMs right here, a lot of them don't mention our brand. So Claude doesn't mention our brand, Perplexity doesn't mention our brand, but Gemini and Grok do. And if I open this up right here, I can see where we are mentioned right here at Arvo, and the source that's being cited is this article right here, which looks awful, by the way. I just zoomed out a bunch, but this software is basically comparing what the best auto blogging tool for SEO is in 2026, and of course we show up right here, and that's the reason why we are being the reason why our brand is being mentioned right here. It's because our brand is mentioned in this source, which then is being cited for this search prompt right here. And this works for anything, right? If I go here into Claude and say, type in, for example, I'm looking to buy a gift for my 10-year-old kid. He's into gardening. What do you recommend? Give me some product recommendations. It's very well written. The point is that, right, it's going to give me recommendations for stuff, right? And then it's going to tell me, hey, here's the recommendations based on XYZ sources. We've all used GPT before as well. Like, it's the same thing, right? You ask it for something and like, what's the best drop shipping software for beginners? Regardless of what you ask it, right? If it's for a software, physical product, agency, it doesn't matter, right? It's always going to give you an answer, right? And it's going to make that answer better by citing the sources, right? As you see right here, searching the sources, by citing the sources where it found that info on, okay? So for example, right here, it's choosing this right here. And again, it's citing the sources where it found the info on. So usually, a lot of times, right, the brand it cites, well, it will cite, the brand it mentions, it will come from a source that's actually the brand itself. But oftentimes, no, right? Oftentimes it comes from different sources. For example, right here, let's see, this is going to drop again. Yeah, sure. In this case, only like citing the same ones, but it doesn't happen all the time. I'm sure you've seen this before. Like oftentimes the brand it mentions, where the mention comes from a citation where it's not like a branded citation, if that makes sense. But now the big question is, okay, sure. All this is great to ask you, but how do you force yourself to get cited using Claude in specific? Well, first things first, and it's one of the most important things, is to go to Claude and search the prompts, and search the prompts you want to show up for. Make a list. Now, there's a lot of nuance to this, right? Because when you go into Claude, okay, well, if the prompt is, for example, and I'll keep with the same example. Let's just use my tool for this. Again, hopefully you can extrapolate this to your other industries, and I'll try to give you more examples. But let's say, for example, let's keep with ours, Arvo, an AI SEO tool that helps you rank on Google and get cited by LLMs. One of the customers we serve is agencies. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to rank for the prompt. What's the best AI SEO software for agencies? Now, it would be dumb of me, like when we're making the list of prompts we want to show up for. So ideally, for this prompt, if I hit enter, my brand is recommended first. So it says, hey, Arvo, ARVOW is the best AI SEO tool for agencies. Now, this doesn't happen, as you saw before right here. Where is it? For example, for the prompt, what's the best AI SEO software for agencies? We are not mentioned in any of these LLMs. So we don't show up. I can see the brands who are, like who show up. I can see their citations right here. I can see why, but we'll cover this later on. But again, point being is that we don't show up for this prompt in any of these LLMs. But I want to show up for this prompt, right? So again, the list of prompts needs to be smart. It would not make sense for me to have and put on my list of prompts the prompt, for example, best AI SEO software for agencies. Why? Well, because these two prompts have the exact same search intent, right? It's all about intent with the prompts. Jesus, let me just use a proper texting. Intent is the most important thing. The only important thing, honestly, right? This wouldn't make any sense. Why would I be optimizing for prompts with the same search intent? Doesn't make sense, because if I search for this or this, right, the intent behind my prompt is the same. So most likely for these two prompts, the answers that Claude would give me and the brands it recommend would be the exact same, because again, the intent is the same. Right. Again, it would make sense if I just do, I'm an agency and I'm looking for the best AI SEO software to streamline my processes. Again, doesn't make any sense because these three prompts have the exact same search intent. So what would we do then? Well, actually, before that, let me just give you another example, right? For example, if I sold like gardening kits, right, for kids. So it would be dumb of me to target all these prompts, to put all these prompts in my list, because they're all the same. For example, the prompt, best gardening toolkits for kids, is the same as my kid is 10 years old. What would be the good way to get him started in gardening space? Well, this prompt assumes that, okay, it's a kid, he's young, and he wants to get started in the gardening. So he's a newbie. So again, it's a best beginner tool for kids just starting out. It's the same, like my kid's birthday next week, 10 years old, and I want to get him a hobby, so beginner, right? I was thinking about gardening thoughts. So it's the same thing. Or even stuff like this. My wife just divorced me, and I'm sad and alone, and I want my kids to love me, and so I'll just buy them a bunch of shit and win their love with gifts since they're going young, and I want them to grow outside. I was thinking about gardening as a hobby. What are some of the gardening gifts, product ideas, beginner gifts I can give them? So it's the exact same thing. So it's dumb to do this. And again, in the agency example, it's the same thing, right? I own a digital marketing agency and I want to start offering SEO services to my clients. What AI SEO softwares do you recommend I use to get things done faster? Right? It's basically the same thing. So what would we do then? Well, I'd go for stuff like this, right? Best auto blogging software for SEO, or agency SEO software with auto blogging feature. So just this, for example, again, sure, we're looking for targeting the keyword agency SEO software, but we're going hyper specific in terms of the feature. Or something like, for example, LLM rank tracker, multiple for SEO, multiple accounts. Well, we can extrapolate that someone looking for LLM rank tracker is in the AI space, right? I don't even need to include this right here. And typing in multiple accounts, well, we can extrapolate as well that they are someone with multiple projects or multiple clients, so they could be an agency. So hopefully this makes sense. Make sure that the prompts have different intents, because if you're just doing this multiple prompts that all of them have the same intent, well, this doesn't make any sense. You're just wasting time. Hopefully that makes sense so far. Okay. Then after you have the list of prompts you want your brand to be mentioned for, right? And you have a list. Well, step 2 is, of course, just check these cited sources and the type of content. For example, let's go into Claude again. I'm just using Claude, and we'll use Claude again because we'll build out this master prompt. It's going to be very important. But I'm using Claude for research. You can use anything you want. Google's AI mode, ChatGPT, doesn't really matter what you use. So yeah. But if again, one of the prompts on my list was this right here, I'll just search it right here, or I could just do the same thing in Google's AI mode, just pull up this right here, AI mode, right? And what I want to look at is the brands, right? For this search prompt, what are the brands being mentioned? And not only do I want to look at the brands right here, because again, if I want to show up for this prompt, right, which I don't, actually we do, but let's assume we don't, right? Well, I want to look at the brands, but then at the sources that are being cited. Because again, the only reason why all these brands show up right here, right, is because, well, Google's AI mode went in and searched through sources, right? And on these sources, right, these brands are mentioned. For example, this right here is being cited as a source. And lo and behold, well, a lot of the brands that are right here talked about in this content are the ones who are being pulled in by Google and mentioned right here. Okay, so reason why you want to do this, again, reason why you want to get, after you make a list of prompts, test the prompts is because you want to look at the type of content that's out there. Okay, I'll show you how to build this content, don't worry, but you want to look at the type of content, because if for this search prompt, or whichever search prompt you want to rank for, I want to get cited for, all the citations are basically listicles, which in this case they are 12 best, 7 best, 11 best, 16 best. We tested 12, right? All these are basically listicle types of content, okay? And in fact, we actually are being cited right here, which is good. All these are like listicle types of content. So this tells me literally, these LLMs literally tell us what they want. Just like in Google, if I type in how to tie a tie, right? Google tells me what it wants. It wants short form content, clearly, right? Because it's the thing the closest to the left-hand side. And I hear short form, video, images, short form, all short form. And maybe then, not even on the first page, written stuff. So literally Google tells you what it wants. Just like LLMs. LLMs tell you what they want. Literally, like they literally tell you what they want, right? In this case, what they want is, and what they feel like satisfies the search intent of this prompt the best, is info that's present in listicles. So test it, literally test it out. This is free to test out. Just test it out on your own terms. And again, don't try to produce different types of content, because it wants that's in the cited sources, okay? And again, you can do this in GPT, Perplexity, all these have sources they cite, okay? So that's step 2. Now, of course, you also want to track stuff. You can use Arvo to track this stuff. We basically allow you to go here. You can just add your brand right here, and you monitor, add your brand, whatever, and just basically allows you to track your brand mentions all across these LLMs, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, Grok, and also the sentiment, like if they do mention you, are they saying good or bad things about you? So you can just track all this stuff, which is pretty cool, right? And then you can add as many prompts as you want right here, or just basically bulk import prompts. And again, I can show you some examples right here for the prompt. How to automatically generate and post articles to my blog. If I click here, I can see, okay, we show up in Perplexity. And if I click even further, I can see where we show up, and we show up here in a table. But for example, for the prompt, is Arvo the best AI SEO tool software? Well, we show up for all of them because, again, we have, of course, the brand name in the prompt, so of course we'll show up. But Grok says negative thing. Excuse me. Where is it? Yeah, Grok says bad things about us. Negative sentiment. I can click here and say, hey, yeah, sure, Arvo's not the best one. And these are all the sources it mentioned. So then I can take this info and basically either get in touch with these sources to maybe change the sentiment, or create new sources, right, to sort of try and change this sentiment, right? Because I want LLMs to mention my brand, but I also want them to say good things about me. And so you can track stuff using Arvo's LLM rank tracker, which is pretty cool, because again, it's going to be quite hard to do this stuff if you're not tracking. And yeah, I think we're the best one, but of course I'm 100% biased. Now, here's where Claude comes in. Right, your whole goal is to produce a similar piece of content but better, and for that you're going to use this mega master prompt. Which, if you want access to this, just DM me on Twitter, or yeah, DM me, because I guess no, never mind. Just comment below prompt, and I think YouTube now has a DM feature. So yeah, comment the word prompt, and I'll just DM you on YouTube, because I really do think that, I think it was this month that they implemented this. You can now DM people on YouTube. It's pretty cool. So comment the word prompt, and I'll send you the master prompt. The reason why this is valuable is because you can just go here and take in, right? Let me just show you, for example. I'll give you an example. So right here, one of the, again, one of these pages it cited was this, which looks like trash, by the way. What I can do is I can take this URL, okay? I can take the title as well, right here. I can copy the URL. I can place it right here into my master prompt. So I'm on my website, of course. I can put here the competitor URL of the content I want to beat, right? Which is this right here. Because again, the whole goal of this master prompt is to be able to create a piece of content, right? That's better than this one. Because, and by the way, like this has a DR of 28. Never mind, this is another one. This has a DR of, let's see, 6. It's nothing, right? So if this source is being cited with DR 6, because I know people would say, yeah, but they're only being cited because their DR is like 50 something, and if I produce a similar piece of content, I'll never get cited because even though my piece of content is better, their DR is higher. No, their DR is 6, and they're being cited. Again, I show up for this prompt that I want to show up for because my brand is included in this piece of content. So the theory is, okay, let me produce, if I did not, actually, yeah, if I did not show up for this prompt, well, what I'll do is I'll click and see the brands that show up, the sources where they show up in, and then create a better piece of content. And again, it doesn't matter about the DR because with the DR6, the brands on here are still being mentioned. So what I do again is I take this right here, take this URL, put in the master prompt right here, put my site URL, and this will basically allow you to write, and you paste this into Claude, allow you to write an amazing piece of content better than the one that's currently being cited for the prompt that you want to rank for. And let me show you an example live right here. There you go. So this right here was done with the master prompt, all done with the master prompt, and this is based off of, again, all done off of this article right here. The only reason why I have it built right here is because there was a brand ranking, there was a brand, right, that was being mentioned for a prompt I wanted to be mentioned for, but I wasn't being mentioned for, but they were. So I looked at where and why they were being mentioned, and they were being mentioned in this prompt because their brand was mentioned in a similar article that was being cited for that prompt. Hopefully that made sense. So what I did, well, just copy the URL of that cited article and use the master prompt right here to make it even better. And it built out the whole thing. Of course, mentions Arvo as the best tool. And then I just take this and put this onto my site, right? That's it. And by the way, if you're wondering how fast this works, well, this right here was posted last month. Like not even 30, yeah, sort of 30, a month ago, right? This works fast. LLMs work fast. So no longer do you have to wait like 6 months. No, you can just wait weeks or even days or even hours. We've had stuff that ran up in hours. Just as long as you can get stuff indexed. So because it needs to be indexed so it gets pulled in. Because if it's not indexed, it's never going to get pulled in, right? But it just works fast. And I'm not sure for how long it's going to work for, but I feel like this workflow of checking and pulling in the prompts, or you can use Arvo or not to track it, whatever, pulling in the prompts, checking the brands that are being pulled in for the prompts you want to show up for, right, of your list, right, checking the cited sources, and then using something like a master prompt to make a piece of content that's 10 times better, right? And again, don't focus on DR because some of the sources being cited have a shitty DR. So this doesn't matter. It's all about the content. So this is working right now. Okay. Now, the reason why I use Claude for the master prompt is because I prefer the output of this. It just looks better because Claude is able to add these. It just looks more beautiful. That being said, it doesn't need to look beautiful. Clearly, like this is awful, and this is awful, and it's being cited, and it's helping my brand be mentioned for a prompt I wanted to be mentioned to. So it clearly doesn't have to look good. So there you go. So you don't even have to use Claude's paid subscription. Just use ChatGPT or just use Arvo right here. Reason why you want to use Arvo, and I guess it's the next step, is in case you want to automate the whole thing and do it like in bulk. You can just use Arvo for that because you can just use Arvo to mass produce across multiple prompts, industries, and even languages. You can just go here to blog automation, new campaign right here. Name it this whatever you want. Enable autoblog, full automation mode. Hit continue, and you can just say, hey, publish 10 articles every single week, right? And you'll basically you're connecting Arvo directly with your CMS, whichever one it is. We connect with all of these right here. And basically, you have Arvo automatically generating and posting articles for the prompts you want to rank for, of course, to your site all the time in mass. So you basically increase your likelihood and your probability of getting cited by these LLMs. Now, by the way, if you're wondering, does AI content rank? Well, yes. Like if you go to arvo.com/case studies, actually these guys, I've shown you this often, all these are AI content. it does rank. Also, by the way, I can show you one live example right here, arvo.com. I think it's this right here. Yeah, this is fully done with Arvo, and it is ranking right away. It's just, as soon as you got indexed, boom, started ranking. Okay, and by the way, it ranks for actually some valuable keywords, right? SEO software for agencies, best SEO software for agencies, SEO platform for agencies, best SEO software suite, software for SEO agencies. So it's ranking for valuable keywords, and it's all AI. Well, all done with Arvo. Now, can AI produce bad quality content? Sure. But so can humans, right? So but this is all done with Arvo, by the way. So it's pretty cool. That's ranking just like all these other case studies right here. So yeah, you can fully automate the whole thing with Arvo. And the cool thing is that I don't think there's anyone doing this that I know of, but you can fully set up multiple auto blogs and have one running in English, one running in Portuguese, other running in Spanish, other one running in Greek. So you can just multilingual bulk automate your whole SEO across platforms to increase your likelihood of being mentioned for prompts you want to show up for in multiple LLMs. So that's pretty cool. Again, just comment the word prompt. I'll just DM you this via YouTube. It's pretty valuable. But this is worthless if you don't do the whole other steps, which is, again, making a list of prompts you want, putting them into whichever LLM you want, and then checking the citations and looking at the type of content is ranking, and then emulating that content either using Arvo or Claude or whatever you want, right? And then you can fully automate the whole thing with Arvo if you want. So that's it. Here's how you can use Claude Code to get these little stars right here in these search engine ranking pages. If you don't know what this is, these are called aggregate rating. And this is done through something called schema markup. In other words, it's like a little snippet of code you can add to your site that gives you these little extra features. It could be stars, it could be an image right here, like these guys have right here. This is Instagram, that's why this shows up right here. But these guys, for example, they have it right here. So this is an image, you can get stars, you can get multiple different little features in the search engine ranking pages. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it using Claude. So let's get going. So again, this is called schema markup. So what you do is you go to schema.org. Okay, schema.org, this site right here, this very boring site. You click on schemas, you scroll down and click on aggregate rating right here. Click this. Oh, and by the way, like you can literally choose how many stars, how many reviews you want here and the rating. So you can literally fake it and say 5 stars, 1 billion reviews. Now, Google does tend to check this. So I don't necessarily want you guys to lie, but you can. That said, the reason why this is called aggregate rating is because in theory, not in theory, in actual practice, you can aggregate ratings that you have like on Yelp, Facebook, IG, like any review aggregation site, any review site, excuse me, you can just basically aggregate the sum of these total reviews and be this right here, and then just add up the number to see how much it is. Hopefully this made sense. But then again, I think a lot of people lie on this and there's not really any control in my opinion. And it's such an unfair advantage because like if this was like the SERP, let's say these guys were ranking first, second, and third, right? This just catches my eye way more. Not just because of the fact that these guys have a way too long meta title. It's just way too long. This doesn't even show up. They try to be clever and add the phone number right here, but it's kind of pointless because it doesn't even show up. So by the way, if you have a website, I'll quickly show you this right here. If any website you have, right, your meta title should not be longer than 60 characters because it just won't show up. Same thing for meta description. By the way, like we're an AI SEO business, and we have a ton of stuff we need to fix, especially in the AI citation realm. This is, by the way, this is a free plugin you guys can check. Even checks your schema for you. It even checks the links and all that cool stuff. You can even connect with Google Search Console to see like a bunch of cool data. This is called SEO Inspector. This is a free extension you can download in Google Chrome Web Store. But going back here again, these guys, like not only it's longer pixels, it's more pixels because they have this setting right here, but this it's unique, right? Nobody else has this, just like nobody else has this image right here. Again, this is all done with schema. And again, what schema is literally just a snippet of code. If you scroll down here, you can see, click JSON LD, right? This is the script, the schema, the code saying, hey, this is the business type, whatever, opening hours, and sorry, right here. Okay, there we go. Review type, author, Ellie, date published, review body, and then the review rating. 5 stars, 1 rating. Okay, so again, you can literally copy this and make this your code your own and literally change this and put like 1 billion reviews of 5 stars. And then you just take this and add it to your site. The way you should add your site is quite straightforward. But once you're in Claude Code, I'm using Max version of it, right? Make sure to open a new session, right? And here, select a new folder. Just create a new folder on your desktop, okay? And open it up right here. I just opened this one called Schema. Now, inside of this folder called Schema, there's a specific file, which is this right here, called aggregate rating schema mega prompt.md. You're gonna have to put this inside of this folder, okay? And only then you can say, hey, run the file. Or run the prompt. Now, if you want this, run the MD file, whatever. If you want this MD file, comment the word file, and I'll send this over to you. Now, this is you need this file to get this rolling, okay? And what this is basically, in essence, is just going to ask you for a couple questions. In fact, it's going to ask you for your URL, and basically that's it. And then it's going to do a bunch of research on your brand, who you are, what you do, all reviews it can find across the board, and generate that little snippet of code that you can just automatically just put straight to your site, right? Doing all the thing right here, you can see like it's doing what's doing in the backend. It has multiple phases. It's going on phase 0 right now. So phase 0, hopefully I can show right here, this phase 0, phase 1, phase 2. Phase 0 is just the input's going to ask you for your URL, Then phase 1 is going to do a proper analysis on the entity name, description, image, pricing, schema type is going to need, then reviews already on the page. And phase 2 is going to find review sources anonymously. So it's going to look through G2, Capterra, Trustpilot, Facebook, and all these other websites that you can find reviews on. So then again, you can aggregate those reviews onto that code, and then it's going to calculate based on the number of reviews and the ratings of those reviews, calculate the numbers make sense, add to the code. Then phase 4 is going to give you the report before generating. So it's going to do a lot of stuff right here. It's a very, very long prompt. And yes, just get started with phase 0. So paste in the URL of your site. Let's just do this for Arvo. Why not? Hit enter. Now you're just going to watch the prompt basically do its work. Now, sure, could you just go here to schema.org, copy this, and just edit these things out and change the name of the person, etc.? I mean, yeah, sure, but why would you do that when it just takes you a ton of work and when AI just can do it really quickly for you? Now, AI is not just like changing these, like going out and finding new ones. It's going to be finding other alleys or the locuses. I mean, it's going to basically scour the web to find what people are saying. It's going to take what they're saying and compile that info in a way that can be put right here inside of the code, give you the final code piece, and you can just copy it and post it straight to your site. That's the true power of this prompt, honestly. As you can see, it's fetching, right? It's going through AppSumo, all these places, right? You can potentially find reviews on. It's searching at the brand name and all these other ones. Again, it's doing a proper research. That's why this stuff is available. So let's just wait for this to load right here, and I'll be back once it has. And by the way, in any case, if these review numbers and ratings aren't as good as you wanted them to be, you can literally fake them. Now, I'm not saying you should do it or that you need to do it, but I'm saying that I've seen a lot of people do it and they've been getting away with it for years, because I don't think Google has, it's not that Google doesn't check, it's that not a lot of people know about this. Not a lot of people do this. Like, not a lot of people have this right here, as you might have noticed. Not a lot of people have this, let alone have this right here. So you can get away with doing some shady stuff right here. Not saying this is black hat SEO, it's white to grayish hat SEO, and I've never seen anyone get penalized by this. So yeah, just do with this what you will. Okay, and it's now creating the schema. Now, by the way, I'm using Opus 4.7. You don't need to use this. Like, I'm using the most expensive plan. You don't need to do so. Like, sometimes it might make less mistakes, but I mean, you can use the free version of Claude Code or just a simplified version. You don't need to go overkill with this. Okay, so it's done, and once it's done, you open up that same folder, and inside you should have your schema.json file, and this right here is the exact file that which has the code basically that you'll paste into your website header. Regardless of which CMS you use, if you use any local tools, this is what you put on there. And by the way, if you want to validate if this works, go to Google, reach test results, paste the code right here, and hit test code, and this will basically test your code to see if everything's up to standard. Everything should be fine, but as just to get yourself more relaxed, I guess. Just there you go, 2 valid items, there you go, boom, boom, and it's perfect. So it is working. And so that's basically it. Run this prompt again, comment the word file. I'll send this over to you. Open it up in Claude Code, run it, say, hey, run it, and it's going to ask you for your URL. It's going to do a bunch of research on your brand, what you do, etc., who you serve, and it's going to scour the web for every review it can possibly find on your business, including the ones on your site. Then it's going to compile them, put them into the right format for the schema code, for the JSON LD schema code, right? It's going to calculate the numbers. So if it's going to give you 5 stars, 4.8, 4.2, how many reviews it has, it's going to compile all that for you by doing the whole research for you. That you don't have to do a single thing, right? You just have to take that file in and paste it into your site's header. Again, we're doing this to get stuff like this. And this works for local businesses, e-commerce stores, software, any business honestly that has reviews online. And also you can get stuff done like this, which I'll make a video on next week. That's it. This Claude Code SEO automation outputs something like this: a full-on complete SEO audit of your site with the backlinks. I mean, with all this valuable stuff, which is interactive. And I want to go over exactly how you can do it using Claude Code. It's going to be a very boring video, but trust me, it's going to be worth it, because again, the output of this is simply something you can just literally take action on just after you watch the video. I know it seems complicated, but it's super simple. And I even made sure that the output was an HTML file, so it's easier to understand and easy to interact. So let's get going. So first thing you need is to click the first link in the description and go to this GitHub. So what this is basically is the backbone of all this stuff, right? All the boring code, right, that will allow you to full on do the audit on your site, take a look at the competition and all that stuff. Okay, so step 1, go to the first link in the description and click here on this code tab and download the zip. right? Then you got to download VS Code. This is free, okay? It's called VS Code here on Mac. It's this app right here. It's called Visual Studio Code. It's free, okay? And once that's downloaded, well, just open it up and click File, Open Folder, and then just open that zip file. Unzip it first, and then you'll have all of these tabs right here, which this is all the stuff that's inside that folder, okay? So far, so good, pretty straightforward, okay, right? And then, after this stuff is all loaded right here, well, what you do is you just paste this right here, hit enter, and what this will do, again, it's going to run the code, right? Just click accept, okay, click accept and type in run whenever it prompts you to run. Again, it will give you all the stuff you need to do. It's pretty straightforward, right? Anything you don't understand, you just ask it and it'll tell you what you need to do, okay? So yeah, it'll tell you to install stuff, to run stuff, just run all this stuff. And then once it's finished running, you will have generated this complete report. Now, this is the compiled version. What you want is this right here, the HTML file, right? It's going to give you 5 things, right? Just click here, the HTML file, copy all this stuff, and then you can go to htmlpreview.net, paste that stuff into there, and there you go. That's the whole report. Now, this is a report for our own site, and it analyzed all of this stuff in depth. Security, social media, robot crawlers, broken links, internal links, redirects, AI search, the LLM text. This is kind of BS, so I wouldn't look at this. Performance, on-page SEO, readability, article extractor, entity SEO, link profile, edge flying, and content uniqueness. And so again, you can go through all this stuff and see. Let's just say, for example, security and headers. Right here, we have a bunch of issues, that we think you should be fixing and that they're missing. All the issues compiled, a bunch of broken links. Actually, let's just look at the broken links. Why not? Broken links. Yeah, sure, 100%. This, in fact, is broken because we've removed this page and we no longer work with these guys. So these are small fixes that can be done onto your site quite fast, honestly. And so now the work you have to do is just go in here and if you agree with these fixes, just fix them all. Now, alternative, you can just go to arvo.com, click on Site Optimizers, create new optimizer, add your site URL right here, select the language, select the maximum pages you want to analyze. And then what this will do is it will give you a report on the things that it thinks you should be fixing, and then it tells you the why as well, and then it can fix it for you. If you just hit apply, it will fix that for you. For example, internal linking, right? It will find pages on your site that it thinks should be interlinked between each other. For example, this one should be interlinking with this one right there. Using this anchor text tells me the why, and if I agree with this, I can just hit apply, and that internal link will just be created automatically. I can bulk apply these changes. So basically, it is the same thing as the analysis Claude just did, but we do it with our own models, and we allow you to apply these changes. And you can do this for any site, really, okay? Any client site, you have your own site, so you can just bulk apply all these changes, schema markup, image alt text, canonicals, meta description, meta titles, right? For example, for this page title, it's this right now. This suggests we change to this one, giving us the reason why, right? Then if we agree with this, we can hit apply or discard or just bulk apply and fix all these changes. So again, you can still run the report, right? And then if you want to go and apply some of these things, right? Internal links, for example, you can see which ones are broken, which ones aren't really working, right? And then you can go here and apply the actual changes inside of Arvo. And again, this applies changes without even having to log in into your site. You don't even have to give login credentials. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that's it. This is the best Claude SEO prompt I've ever built. And what it does is it analyzes the keywords you want to rank first for on Google. Takes a look at who's ranking for those keywords, the type of content, why is that content ranking, and then allows you to produce a better piece of content for those keywords. So in essence, it produces what we call the golden piece of content. So for example, let's say I want to rank for the keyword best SEO software for agencies, right? It takes a look at, okay, who is ranking for these keywords? Okay, these guys are, excuse me. It takes a look at the type of content. So most likely in this case, it's a listicle, 13 best, 15 best, 5 best, right? And then based off of the info here, and here, and based off of the info on your own site, your competitors, your ICP, so your ideal customer profile, your products, your services, your pricing point, everything piece of info right here, it produces the golden piece of content that has a little bit of each one of these right here and more on top. Similar to what we do with backlinks. So when you're building backlinks, the whole idea, and I'll leave a link for that in the description, the whole idea when you're building backlinks is, okay, let's build all the backlinks our competitors have, plus some more on top. So we have all the links they have. If you build some more on top, well, you're just going to stay winning. So this is a similar concept where basically the AI, Claude, analyzes all the content ranking for the keyword you want to rank for, and sees the info on there, like, what do these guys have? How many images do they have? Do they have a table? What info is it on the table, right? How many internal links they have? How many external links do they have? Like, analyzes the content as a whole. You'll notice that when And if you actually run this prompt, which is quite a long prompt right here, it'll take around 5 minutes to run, even using the latest and most powerful Claude model, which again, I pay for this. You can just use the free version, but you'll notice that if and when you run this prompt, and you can comment the word prompt and I'll send it over, it's going to be insane. It's going to take a lot of time. Now, again, I spent a lot of hours tweaking this prompt to make it the best possible, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But when you do try it out, well, all you have to do is give it input. So change the target keyword. So add your target keyword, add your URL, and add the list of competitors. Okay, now let's, not list of competitors, excuse me, add the sites that are ranking for the keyword that you want to rank for. Now, let me just show you the output of this prompt. So based off of all this, what we'll do is it'll give you two things. It'll give you a generation prompt. Okay, another one. It'll give you a markdown outline. Now, what the markdown outline is basically literally the outline of the article. So it says, hey, it starts with an H1, little intro, and then an H2, little short 2 to 3 sentence intro, and then there's a H3, there's a table right here, there's a table. So again, it says, basically gives the AI instruction on how your content is going to look like, okay? Based off of all the guys that are ranking, it thinks that it makes sense to have like an image, then an H2, then a little intro, then a table, and then an H3. So it gives you the literally the outline, the structure of the piece of content based off of the structure that these guys have. So again, it's analyzing the whole thing, right? And telling you, hey, listen, by the way, for this keyword that you want to rank for, based off of your competition, based off of your site, based off of what you have already, and based off of the content that's ranking and how that's positioned, we think the best piece of content you should be producing includes this many images, this many links, this many H2s, this many H3s, this many tables, okay? And by the way, this works for any niche. And then what you do with this, you just take this, copy this right here, go into Arvo, click, you can use anything for this if you guys want. Click custom template, paste in generation prompt right here, copy the markdown outline and paste it in right here, and there you go. So I'll show you a quick one right here. This is one that already done, right? And there you go, there's a generation prompt, and then there's the outline right here. And you'll notice that there's a couple of variables right here. So there's a variable tool category, audience, and year, right? And these variables change, okay? The only reason why the markdown outline is and it has these three variables right here is because for the keyword I want to rank for right here, best SEO software for agencies, well, it found that for this keyword, most of the content that ranks, that shows up are listicles. Again, 13 best, 15 best, 5 best, it's listicles. So when you're producing listicles, well, and if I go here and click to generate the article, right, it asks me for the year 2026, tool category, SEO tool, and audience agency. So it's going to be producing the best SEO tool for agencies in 2026. But again, these variables that Claude comes up with right here, these variables will depend 100% on your inputs right here when you're putting in this prompt. So again, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this because this might seem like a bit underwhelming, like, oh, sure, it's just a markdown outline, just a generation prompt. But you have to think about like the whole research that's behind giving you this. Because yeah, this looks underwhelming, but there's a lot of research put behind this to tell it that, yeah, it makes sense that you have these three variables. It makes sense that there's a table. It makes sense that there's however many images. It makes sense that there's however many internal and external links based off of all the research we did. And so I'll quickly show you the output right here. This is the output for this specific prompt, generations, and there you go. So again, properly done in article images, the table you just saw, right? And of course, because it's like, this is a listicle, right? There has to be an image per each H3, and it knows that, okay? Image, 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 again. So this isn't just a random piece of content, right? I mean, you might look at this and think, this is a bit underwhelming. It's just an article, but you have to look at how and why this was created the way it's been, right? Every single link, every single image, every single word, right, is based off of having Claude analyze the keyword you want to rank for, the content that currently ranks for that keyword, and then producing a generation prompt like this one combined with the correct outline that has the highest chances of you ranking for that keyword. Hopefully that made sense. And again, this is super powerful. You just comment the word prompt and I'll send over the prompt and just change these three things right here. And you'll notice it's going to be just amazing. And this works for, again, local business, plumbers, agencies, anything you want, any language as well. So I urge you to give this a go, try this out. Again, we're basically using Claude to do the whole research, analyze the SERPs, the search engine ranking pages, seeing, okay, all these guys are ranking. Why? Let's see. Opens at all of them, analyzes all the content, and like benchmarks that against what you currently have, what you're currently targeting, your customers, your pricing, all this stuff, and based off of your keyword, generates a markdown outline and a generation prompt to allow you to generate the golden piece of content that has the highest chances of outranking all these guys. Okay, here's my 10.9K a month Claude SEO workflow. I want to go over what it is, how you can do it, how we're implementing it, and how you can just copy the whole thing. Okay, step by step. It's going to be very boring, but stick with me here because it's going to be 100% worth it. There's also chapters down below, so you can just click to skip ahead if you want. If not, let's just get going. So what is the strategy? What does it entail? Now, this is going to be specific for a specific type of business. That being said, if you just understand what I'm going to go about right here, you can, and it's honestly apply this to any business. Okay, so first, what's the business? Then what they're doing, and then third, the Claude workflow. So, and then I guess zero, I'll show you how they're making all this money, okay? So first things first, what the business is and what the workflow will be sending traffic to is, in this case, these guys sell IQ tests, okay? $15, $25, $5, okay? This is what they sell. Now, why is this Claude AI SEO workflow worth 10K a month? Well, if you look at this, right, and I'll have to hide the domain, these guys are pulling in 30,000 visits a month to their site. Now, the way in which you do this is because their site ranks on Google. This is all the Google organic search traffic. It's mainly US based, and they rank on Google. Their domain ranks on Google for all these keywords. Thus, they pull in around this much in traffic. Now, why would this be worth almost 11K? Well, it's if you were a competitor to these guys, if you were to sell also IQ tests, and again, don't worry, we'll go over the whole strategy in Claude and the workflow, which you can just copy if you want. And by the way, you can copy this not just for IQ tests. Regardless of what you sell, you'll be able to apply this regardless, okay? I just have to pick an example, okay? So again, why is this worth 10K? Well, the way in which this is calculated is if you were a competitor to these guys, if you were, let's say, if you also sold IQ tests, right? And if you wanted to get this much traffic, 30,000 people a month straight to your site, right? If you were to pay for Google Ads, if you were to bid on Google Ads and bid for these 2.5K keywords to bring in this much traffic a month, it would cost you 10.9K a month in dollars to get this much traffic. Hopefully that made sense. This is how this figure how they extrapolate the value of the traffic is by, again, benchmarking it across how much it would cost you to bid on all these keywords with Google Ads to get this much traffic. Okay, so there you go. We've established how much this traffic is worth. Now you could argue that it's worth a little bit more, a little bit less. Regardless, it is valuable, and I'll show you why in a bit as well. Now, we also have to take a look before the Claude workflow. Where is this traffic going to? So we go here into the top pages. Actually, before that, by the way, like they also get a bunch of mentions across LLMs. So their brand is being cited in ChatGPT, in Google's AI reviews, Perplexity, Gemini, Copilot. So if you want to track this, by the way, you can just go to Arvo, go to Analytics and Reports, click on LLM Rank Tracker right here, add your brand, and I'll show you an example. For example, for our brand right here, Arvo, we can see if we show up in ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, Grok, and then the sentiment. Like if we do show up, are they saying good or bad things about us? And for example, we have a bunch of prompts that we're currently tracking. For example, for the prompt, is Arvo the best AI SEO software? If we click this, of course, like because the prompt has our brand name, of course, all these LLMs mentions us, right? But then we notice that Grok has a negative sentiment towards us. So we can see, okay, Grok says we're not the best one. And then it has the sources, so we can leverage this information to maybe go out and edit those sources or create new sources that change the LLM sentiment. For example, for the prompt, how to automatically generate and post articles to my blog, I can see here that only Perplexity is mentioning us. If I click this further, I can see, okay, we're mentioned right here in the table. So you can track these. You can even track your competitors' prompts, domains if you guys want. I mean, yeah, you can just use it for that. But going back here, again, let's take a look at the top pages. So this will tell me, right, what are the pages on their site that are pulling in the most traffic, right? And we see here that if I just do Command F, article, article, right? A lot of the pages, a lot of the top pages on their site are article-based pages. And I'll open up a few right here. And this will all make sense in a bit. Again, I'll have to add a bunch of stuff. But for example, this one is, what's Elon Musk's IQ? Right? Now, why is this valuable for them? Well, someone looking for what's Elon Musk's IQ, right? And there's an article that goes over all this stuff. remember, there's calls to action all around. There's a fixed call to action right here. There's another one right here. There's one at the bottom as well. I mean, I'll have to add a bunch of stuff, but you can clearly see that the goal of this, we don't just want visitors, right? We want people to buy our products. We have to do calls to action to them. And so what they did here is, again, they're leveraging famous people and the interest that the general public might have in famous people's IQ, right? Writing a piece of content about them with images, links, etc. And then the whole goal, the whole funnel, right? The whole funnel is to drive people and the keywords that these articles rank for, right? To get them to do an IQ test. And a way in which they, and you can also automate the whole thing, is go to Claude and type in, for example, hey, give me a list of the top most 50 famous people in the world who are still alive. Make sure you give me a spread between artists, musicians, tech moguls, athletes, internet personalities, etc. So it gives you a bunch of them right here, right, on a list. Okay. Now, what you can literally do is you can ask Claude to, okay, now take this article into account that we know it's ranking. By the way, again, this is pulling in, let's see here, 7,584 people every single month. This ranks for all these keywords. Let's see here. Again, I'll have to add a bunch of stuff. Elon Musk's IQ, what's Elon Musk's IQ, Elon Musk's IQ score, IQ of Elon Musk. So again, we could argue that the people searching for this stuff, the people who want to know Elon Musk's IQ, yeah, sure, maybe some of them just want to know it just because, but some of the people looking and interested in knowing someone else's IQ, they might want to test out theirs, right? And so just imagine if you could multiply this type of content, right? But just change the word personality name, right? Personality name right here. So you just change this and all else is the same. So just replicate this piece of content massively. Now, again, what you do is you take in this list, right? And then just say, hey, browse this article, boom. I want you to create 50 similar pieces of content targeting each one of these individual names. Now, this is important right here. Make sure the article structure is the same. Now, the reason why we do this is because Google tells us what it wants. So like, for example, if for the keyword Elon Musk's IQ, that's the type of article that's ranking, well, we know that we need to produce a similar piece of content. It wouldn't make any sense to produce anything different. For example, if I type in how to tie a tie, right? Well, what shows up for this is images and short form videos. So it would be dumb of me to produce like an article, a written form article, because again, Google tells me what it wants. Google knows that to satisfy my search intent, the best way and the fastest way it can do so is through short form video. So I would go in, if I wanted to rank for this keyword, I would go and produce short form content. Now for the term, what's Elon Musk's IQ? Well, I know Google is valuing this type of content with a short, like intro, boom, it is Elon Musk's IQ is this, boom, gives me the answer right up top, okay? Image, and then talks about estimations of IQ, it does guarantee success. So it talks about all this stuff. And again, and there's also a video embed. And so again, don't just try to reinvent the wheel. Don't say, hey, write me a better article. No, just none of that. Say, hey, this is what's ranking. This is the type of content I want, right? This is the structure I want. I just wanted you to do it massively or in bulk or in mass for all these other personalities. And that's literally what you have to do, okay? So let me just change this real quick here. Don't add fluff, make it to the point. Add internal links to, let's just say my site is arvo.com, doesn't make any sense, because you want internal links, by the way. Add external links to authoritative sources and any design elements you feel like would make the article easier to read. Boom. So again, now, by the way, I'm using premium, so if you're not, I mean, maybe you have different results, but that's the whole idea. You just mass produce a bunch of stuff. Now, again, this is specific for a business where they sell IQ tests. So you can leverage the search volume of people searching for, let's just see here, people searching for persona IQ test, right? So they can leverage this. Now, the whole goal here is, okay, how could we apply this for an e-commerce store, for an agency, for a software business? How could we apply this to that? Well, this is sort of what we call programmatic SEO, and I'll leave a link for a free course I have on programmatic SEO down below. But try to think how you can apply this to your business. I just wanted to show you this because it's super cool. It's a real life example on how these guys are doing it. Now, I don't know if they're using Claude. I doubt it. I mean, I know what they're using. Full disclosure, they're using this right here. They have an automation with Arvo that allows them to just fully enable auto blog. They have an automatic blog running where it automatically generates and publishes a bunch of articles to their site every other week. Now, what they're not doing is doing it for this. I think they only have this one on Elon Musk. They should have ones for every persona online, every musician, every athlete, Ronaldo, Messi, every single one of them, every tech mogul, every single one of them. There's like a ton of famous people out there. And so there's an insane amount of traffic you can capture and sell them on your IQ tests. And by the way, they're priced at, let's see here. Oh, there you go. What's Trump's IQ? Boom. This is also ranking. But their things are priced very like impulsive buy pricing. It's $5, right? It's an impulsive buy. And so sure, out of all these thousands of people or 30,000 people are going to their site, of course, not all of them are going to this page, but some of them are going. So out of these, let's say 2,000 people going to this Elon Musk's page in specific, sure, maybe if only 0.1% buys, right, you get a customer, right, which you can retarget and sell them on more stuff and you have their email. So it is, honestly, I think they should be doing this in mass. But again, they could use Claude for this. It's going to take a while, right? Because I just asked it to do 50 articles right off the bat. But it's pretty cool. Now, again, you can fully automate the whole thing here with Arvo. Just instead of using Claude, this connects straight with your CMS, regardless if you're using WordPress, Blogger, Shopify. And by the way, you could even, like, if you don't want to like set up the whole backend of selling IQ tests, you could just become an affiliate for these guys. So right now, literally what you can do right now is go out and buy the domain. Let me just do a test. Go to namesheep.com. I use this to buy my domains, by the way, and just buy a domain. Call it IQ test for famous people.com. Surely this is available. Just buy this, right? Or buy a similar domain, register this, and then just, there you go, $8 a month, a year, excuse me, super cheap. And then just use Arvo, or you can do it manually if you want. You can do it manually with Claude and just copy and paste. You can do that, of course. But if you just want to fully bulk automate the whole thing, use Arvo, connect this straight with this WordPress or whatever one you use, and then just go here, Autoblog, enable Autoblog, new campaign, name it whatever you want, full automation mode, full Autoblog, boom, do 10 articles every 2 days, I guess. And then just, yeah, there you go. Just have a bunch of content out there that, by the way, sure, you could argue that maybe because the domain is new, that, oh, there's no DR, it's a new domain. And sure, that's a valid argument. That being said, nowadays more and more new domains can get cited because these LLMs right here, and what I found, and also a lot of the studies have found that one third of the brand, or excuse me, the sites cited right here, mentioned right here, are nowhere to be seen on Google. In other words, you don't necessarily need to rank on Google to get cited or mentioned by LLMs. You only have to get indexed, okay? And so let's say, for example, you make a bunch of articles on Katy Perry IQ test, Beyonce IQ test, Jay-Z IQ test, Kanye West, excuse me, what's Kanye West IQ, right? All those. And sure, maybe you rank on page 10 or page 100, who knows? Doesn't matter because you can still get cited by LLMs. So just imagine if you have a website with basically the whole Bible of every single famous person ever, living, dead, I don't know, young, old, categorize the whole thing. You have the Bible for that. I mean, this is insane. I might even do this as like a joke, because you could literally either do it yourself or just do it on a new domain and then become an affiliate and then just sell these leads or sell this traffic to these guys right here, or anyone else honestly selling IQ tests. Also, something else you can do, I just like remembered, you can do the same thing for those tests where you see like your ancestors. So you can do all that. So famous person ancestry test, or famous person race. Not really, I forget the name of how you call that, but hopefully you get my point. You can do it for both IQ tests and type in Kanye West IQ, or you can do, for example, Kanye West. It's not really race, but like it's like heritage or ancestry, like figuring out who their parents were, their race, where they were from. So you can do all that as well, and then sell people on like those tests, so you can see where, like if you're like 10% Portuguese, 5% Balkanese, 1% African. So hopefully this is making sense so far. So you can do a lot of this stuff. Can be extrapolated to multiple industries. And again, just use Claude for this. literally just use it. Or if you just want to fully automate the whole thing, just use a tool like Arvo to just hit create and just basically automatically connect this right here, our AI, with your site. It's going to be pumping out articles every single day, fully optimized. Actually, let me just quickly show you right here one of the outputs of this. One of the outputs of this real quick here. Boom. Let me just remove my face and let's see here. I think I did generate one for Elon Musk. Where is it? Generations. What's Elon Musk's IQ? There you go. Images, links, tables, quotes, whatever, even in article videos that are, by the way, relevant. So what's Elon Musk's IQ? So it knew that the right video to embed right here would be this right here. And then you can like customize the whole thing. That we give you like infinite options to select the oh, this is another thing. You can just do this in any other language other than English, because people looking for this stuff, they're also writing in Spanish, Greek, Japanese, German, Portuguese. I mean, yeah, so you can just, hopefully you can see like the big picture. Target country, tone of voice, point of view, formality, even advanced options right here. You can connect this to the web, knowledge base, change the formatting, structure, internal linking, article size, external linking, even images. If you use AI images, you can just change the custom prompt, like making them hyper realistic, anything you want, even video embeds. I mean, we give you like a bunch of options so you can customize the whole thing if you want, or even you can even create your own custom template if you like. But that's a video for another time. And yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. And so that's basically it. I don't know what else to tell you. This just created a few articles. Regardless if you use this or use Arvo, I don't really care. I mean, if you use Arvo, I make money because I own the tool. But regardless of that, I think it's a pretty cool solution. Am I saying you're going to make 50K a month or 10K a month of this? Well, probably not, because most of you just won't really do it. That's just how it goes. Not trying to be an ass or anything, but just how it goes. Like most people just watch this. Maybe like 10 of you guys actually start doing it. Maybe 2 or 3 of you buy the domain. Maybe 1 actually tries to do it, and then that guy quits. But yeah, it is working. It is working for these guys. They're making a lot of money. And yeah, I think this was pretty valuable. I want to give you access to this Claude SEO prompt that's responsible for 1.3 million a month in traffic and $400,000 in traffic value every single month. I want to go over what the prompt is, what it does, and how you can do it too. And by the way, if you want the prompt, just comment the word prompt and I'll send that over. It's a very in-depth prompt, but trust me, it can achieve what you see here on your screen. So let's just break this down real quick here. And by the way, like if you're wondering how this right here is calculated, like how do we know that 1.3 million a month in traffic? And I'll show you the site in a bit, but how do we know that this is worth $400,000? Well, it's because if you were a competitor of these guys, and again, I'll show you the URL in a bit. If you were to pay Google Ads to bid on all these keywords, you'd have to pay this much money to get this much traffic. So in theory, to get this much traffic to the one they're getting for free, right? You'd have to pay $400,000 a month. And again, they're getting it for free. I want to show you can do the same thing using this exact Claude prompt. Okay. Now, and also, by the way, as you can see right here, they're also being mentioned and cited all across these LLMs. So this prompt allows you to produce content to your site that ranks on Google, gets a bunch of traffic, and also gets mentioned and cited by these LLMs. So their brand now shows up in ChatGPT, Google's AI reviews, Perplexity, Gemini, Copilot, and all this good stuff. And by the way, before we just jump into it, a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys want to track your mentions across LLMs, you can use Arvo for this. Just go to log into your account, click Analytics and Reports, click LLM Monitor, click New Monitor, add your brand right here. I'll show you an example real quick here. I can track if my brand shows up in ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, and then I can see, okay, what's the sentiment? If I do show up, are they saying good or bad things about me? And then I can add as many prompts. I can track as many prompts as I want. I can bulk import prompts. For example, here for the prompt, let's see, what's the best AI software for SEO agencies? I can click this and I can say, okay, only one LLM is mentioning me. And I can click even further and see, okay, where is my brand being mentioned, as well as the sources it's being cited from. So again, I can do this for as many prompts as I want, and I can even add my competitor URL and track their own prompt. So again, if you guys want to check which prompts you guys are ranking for or your competitors, you can do that with Arvo. Now, what is this site? Well, you might know the brand. They're a big brand called Top Gear. Now, again, trust me, you can do this for any niche, any language. I'm just using this as an example. Okay, I'm going to say that again because I don't want you guys to click off. This can be applied to any niche, any language, regardless if you're an agency, a local business, plumber, plastic surgeon, lawyer, software business, e-commerce store. This can literally be applied to anything. Again, I just need to give you some examples. So I'm just using these guys as an example. So what's the whole automation about? what we're going to be doing with Claude, in essence, with this mega prompt, right, is doing some YouTube arbitrage. Let me just quickly read the intro so you can understand what this actually does. So it goes, you're an SEO strategist specializing in content arbitrage, finding unexploited opportunities where strong YouTube content exists, but matching rated content is missing or weak in Google SERPs, search engine ranking pages. Your output will be used to configure an automation tool that turns YouTube channels into auto-publishing blog posts. So the idea here is this in this three-step process that has a bunch of in-depth research, and I'll show you live how this works, is you're going to be basically taking in a bunch of YouTube channels who are producing content around your niche, taking that, you're going to be analyzing the channels automatically, find if there's opportunities, if there's some arbitrage in the info explained in these channels, right? And analyze if it makes sense that our brand ranks on Google for the keywords that these videos are targeting. So the idea is that we are converting the search intent of these channels into written posts in a way that we know beforehand that these have the opportunity to rank. Let's just break it down real quick here. So let's just hit enter right here. Again, if you want the prompt, comment the word prompt and I'll send this over to you, okay? First things first, I'm gonna ask you a couple things. Let's give it a go, let's test it out. So let's go with the same example. Let's say, for example, I'm a car dealership in Dallas. Okay, let's just go with this one real quick here. So let's just choose one of these right here. For example, this one right here. Let's just copy this and go in and paste it right here. So this is my URL. Okay, you can give it your niche and industry. I suggest you do. All these are optional, but I suggest you do. If you don't, it'll just do it automatically for you. Let's just hit enter so we can just save some time. So what this will start to do right now, and by the way, I'm using Claude's most powerful model. You don't need to do this. I'm using even the max thinking, extended thinking. You don't need to do this, but you can if you want better results. So now what it's doing is understanding the site, understanding what we do. Okay, it's synthesizing all the info to see, okay, what are these guys? What do they sell? Who is their ICP, their ideal customer profile? What are the keywords they're targeting? Like all this, it's analyzing fully in depth to find out even as well the target keywords we should be targeting with this strategy. It's going to take a while, but I'll stick with you guys here so you guys can actually see this, doing it in the moment live. So there we go, we got our site. So now it's proceeding with deriving the niche, ICP, keywords. So again, it's doing all that research right now. Again, you can see it doing it live, going through the site, searching through the web, going on social media. So this prompt right here, even though it seems quite simple, it is not simple at all. It was crafted in a way on purpose to have Claude putting the time in doing this whole research, because what the output's going to be is just basically just a couple of YouTube channels, but it's the right YouTube channels. And then we're going to plug these YouTube channels with an automation that takes the videos from those channels and knows when those channels uploaded new videos, takes that and automatically writes articles and publishes articles based off of that content straight to your site. While this loads, I'll show you an example right here. For example, these guys are doing the exact same thing, right? These guys are simply just taking a video and converting that video into a simple article. That's basically it. All these right here, the top tier ones, any of these ones you click right here, these are simple article content, car reviews, okay? All of them stem from or can stem from a video. So what we're doing basically here is taking in, analyzing your URL, okay? Based off of that, there's a mega prompt where the output's going to be 5 to 10 YouTube channels, okay? And then we're going to take these YouTube channels and we know when they upload videos, okay? And we automatically basically have a section on our site that has posts, articles written based off of the info in those videos fully automatically. Now, this thing right here from URL to the 10 channels is exactly this mega prompt right here that takes a while to load because it's doing a lot of stuff. It's, for example, right now it's finding specific candidates for the arbitrage filter because I've built in here an arbitrage filter right here. Let me just see if I can find it real quick here. There you go. For each candidate, each channel, check whether the channel or its creator already runs a blog that ranks for the target topics, search, channel name, blog, creator, whatever. So we want to see if there's actually an opportunity right here, okay? Because if there's no opportunity for arbitraging, well, then this is kind of pointless, right? Then, of course, to filter all the channels, you look for if they publish regularly, if there's a subscribable content, right? And if they cover topics that we can generally like find rankings opportunities on actual written articles. So none of this is random right here. As you can see, it takes a lot of work and takes a lot of digging into multiple sources to find the best things out there. For example, right now it's looking through this other site, these other channels to see, okay, is there opportunity here, right? It's not just looking at the channel, it's looking at the brand behind the channel, seeing what they're doing and seeing if there's arbitrage for us. Okay, so seeing if there's something in place that we can do. Again, going all through the social media, podcasts, I mean, it's doing the whole research right here. But again, that's the whole gist of this. In essence, we're going to be taking this and a lot of this traffic right here, this 1.3 million people, right? It's just on the /car reviews. So it's just literally on all the content that's right here. And all these are the exact same thing. Regardless of the car you choose, all these are just literal reviews of cars. So what we can do again is we could take someone already doing car reviews or whatever thing in the realm of cars and have it generate articles like these and post them straight to our site, as you see right here. And again, this is pulling in just the car reviews 1.3 million people a month. And it's basically the same thing as this one. Literally a small article that stems from a video originally. And so again, what we're doing is we're finding the channels and then have it automatically generate content like this from these channels. Okay. Again, I'll just let this load. Oh, let me just quickly try. For some reason, this failed. I'm not sure if I hit my credit limit or not. Hopefully not. So let's just wait again for this to load and I'll be right back. Okay, so there we go. It is done. So you can see here the channel shortlist. 1, 2, it gave me a bunch of them. And again, all of them are, they're here for a reason. I suggest you read through all this stuff. But let's just open up a couple right here so you guys can see what I mean. So these guys, Engineering Explained, these guys make videos with quite a bit of cadence, reviewing cars, reviewing car parts. Again, I'm choosing this niche and these are the channels because it's the niche we're in. Any other one that I open right here, for example, the smoking tire, all these make sense. Now we're going to be arbitraging this. We're going to be leveraging these guys right here. Here's another one right here. Right. 2 weeks ago, reviewing cars, talking about the cars. Literally, the exact, we are taking the info on here, literally, and doing this. Right, and producing articles and review articles, just like these ones that get an insane amount of traffic. Now, the way in which you automate the whole thing is that you go here, you copy the channels. Let's just, for example, copy this one right here, and you copy them one by one, go into Arvo right there. This is one of the outputs. Go into Arvo, click on feed right here, create new feed, YouTube feed, car, niche, channel 1. There you go. Paste the channel right here. And what this will do is it will basically create a feed, a living entity that will pull in, and you'll see here in a second once this loads, all of the videos on that channel. And on top of that, when this channel makes a new video, right, we know, and we'll pull in the video automatically right here, and the video will show up right here. And every 24 hours, it will refresh and pull in new videos. So this is basically, this feed thing is a living entity, right, that's always working, always getting data from. Now, what we do after this is populated with data is we connect this right here with an automatic blog that automatically generates and posts this straight to our site. Again, I know I'm harping on the car niche, but this works for literally any niche, right? If you're having trouble with figuring out how you can apply this to your niche, well, just copy this YouTube video's transcript, paste it into Claude or paste it into ChatGPT and ask it, hey, this guy, Vasco, applied this to the car dealership niche. How can I apply this same thought process to a dentist, lawyer, a software business, I don't know, e-commerce store? Like, just it will tell you exactly how. So there you go. It's already populated with all the videos. I can see here where the videos are, what they are, one by one. And what we do now is we go here to campaigns and other blogs, new campaign, my car dealership content, enable auto blog, full automation mode, hit continue, select the feed we just created right there, which is the, let's see here, car niche channel 1, select integration, select which site you want to publish this out to, select the cadence. Let's just do, for example, every week we're going to do 3 pieces of content and hit create. There you go. Once you hit create, this will basically create a full automation that's connecting Arvo with your site. It will do the generation plus publishing of all this content straight to a dedicated content or /blog or /whatever page you want to go to out to all of these articles. Like literally do look exactly like these ones right here, with also the video embed as such. I'll show you an example right here. For example, this one is for the gardening niche. Again, this works for any niche. It has the title, table of contents, the video embed, and the whole thing going over the article as a whole. Here's the one for the car we just saw before. Again, it's the exact same thing as that these guys are doing, and they're pulling in an insane amount of traffic. And again, don't think you can just do this for car dealerships. You can, but you can also just do it for any other thing out there. And I don't think a lot of people are doing this right now, because this leverage, like using Claude to do the whole research, this took a ton of time. I'm not sure how many minutes this was loading for. I think around 10 minutes, because the prompt is so big and it just is so much research, not just on finding random sites, but on finding the sites it knows there's arbitrage. And stacking that against what your site is, what you sell, your ICP, your keywords, right? And finding the best match between, okay, I feel like the content that these YouTube channels are producing, if I convert them into written-based content and publish it to my site, there's an opportunity here to get traffic to these articles and rank by doing the whole full analysis on the search engine ranking pages. So again, it's not just a random prompt, it's a properly developed prompt. So comment the word prompt, and I'll send that over to you guys so you guys can apply this for, again, any niche you guys want. The prompt works for any niche, any language. And by the way, speaking of language, like these guys are pulling in, of course, mainly English-based traffic. Just imagine if you were to do this exact same strategy for the Spanish market, the Portuguese market. I mean, Portuguese market, it's not just Portugal, it's Brazil. It's huge, right? The Spanish-speaking market is huge as well. I mean, English is not the most spoken language in the world, right? Most people in the world don't speak English. So just imagine if you can do this for the German market, all these different markets in Europe. I mean, the opportunities are just endless. So if I can urge you to do anything, is just give it a go. Just apply it, try, use the prompt, see what the output is, and then just take the channels in and use Arvo to automate the whole thing. Create multiple feeds right here. As you saw, new feed, YouTube feed, add the channel feeds right here, and have them automatically populate and gather in the info, right? And then connect them with an automatic blog. And this just literally runs on autopilot forever, as long as the guys keep on uploading content for your niche. And that's why I recommend also having multiple, because if these guys stop, we have other ones on the back end, have like 5 to 10. As long as they keep creating content and uploading content, you're basically taking that content, repurposing it, and posting it to your site. And of course, you're giving credit to them, because there's, of course, a video embed, as you saw before. So we embed the original video into the content. Okay, so you're not just stealing content, you're just basically acting as like a journalist that's basically watching the video, taking that info, writing it out, and embedding the video. But the thing is that AI is doing all this for you. AI is watching the video, reading through the transcript, writing its version of what the content that's on there is, right? SEO optimized. So these articles are all meant and optimized to rank, and then just posting it straight to your site. So yeah, that's it. Here's how you can use Claude Code for ranking your site high on Google and get all this traffic that's worth basically almost 5K a month, just using Claude Code. I want to go over the whole thing step by step, the whole workflow, and how you can do it too. But first, a bit of housekeeping. Let me just explain to you why this is worth what it says right here. Well, in other words, and I'll show you the sites in a bit, right? But in other words, like this traffic right here, these 20,000 a month, these are all people coming in from Google. So their site ranks on Google for all these keywords, right? And all the people come in, right? And 20,000 people come in every single month to their site. As you can see here, there's some growth, US-based traffic, and also their brand is also being mentioned and cited all across these LLMs, which, if you want to learn how to do this, I'll leave a link for a free course on how you can like force your site or your brand or your products to be mentioned by all these LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and AI reviews. But going over here to the value before I jump into the workflow with Claude, the way in which this is calculated is quite simple, right? So if you were to be a competitor to these guys, right, and if you wanted to pay for Google Ads, and if you wanted to like drive Google Ads traffic in specific 20K a month traffic to your site, right, you'd have to bid, like pay for Google Ads to bid on all these keywords. So when someone searched for all these keywords on Google, right, you show up first as an ad, right? If you wanted to get this much traffic by bidding on all these keywords, you'd have to pay basically 5K a month in Google Ads. So this is how we extrapolate the traffic value from this number right here. Okay, now of course it's not like 100% correct, but it gives us a sense of what this traffic is worth. Okay, and by the way, it's based off of like real metrics. Like if we go in and look at other people in this niche, right, the CPC, the cost per click, is how much they're paying for clicks on these keywords right here. Hopefully that made sense. Now, let me go over the workflow, but first let me just show you the site. I'll have to blur out a bunch of stuff right here, but what they do is they are an e-commerce store that sells different Tesla accessories. So if you have a Tesla car, you can buy a bunch of accessories right here from their brand. Okay, now the way, or one of the ways in which they're driving traffic to their sites, right? And they're not using Claude, by the way. They're using something else, but I'm going to show you how you can use Claude for this. Is through these right here. So they have a bunch of these posts, and hopefully I can show you some things, not all. They have a bunch of these posts, right? All these things these are basically news articles, so news posts about the latest things that are happening in the Tesla space. So all these are basically news posts, okay? Whatever, like all these are when something new comes into the Tesla ecosystem, right? They just pump out these news articles with images, links, right? And this is good for a couple of reasons. First reason is because, like, if you're putting out, this much content on your site about a specific niche, right? This is like just like a blog, right? Instead of having like a slash blog section, you have a slash news section, right? This is good for two reasons. And again, we'll jump into Claude in a bit, don't worry. But this is good for two reasons. First one is because you have a dedicated section for news about your niche on your site. So any user coming to your site will have direct access to a dedicated section where they can like learn and be informed about the latest news of, in this case, Tesla cars. So it's a good user experience. And two, right? Well, if you have a big wall with a lot of these niche-specific news posts, so in this case, Tesla news posts, right? Well, this page with all these blog posts is going to be hyper relevant for all the keywords you want to rank for. So the fact that they have a bunch of news in the Tesla space not only makes their domain more relevant, which by default makes their URL more relevant and all the pages on their site more relevant, right? So it makes it easier for them as a brand to rank for the main keywords they want to rank for. Because sure, they might not want to rank for the keyword, I don't know, Tesla news or new Tesla release date, whatever. They might not really want to rank for that. Ideally, I guess in case they sell Tesla parts, they want to rank for stuff like where to buy Tesla floor mats, or where to buy, I don't know, wind tint for Tesla Model Y. So they want to rank for those because those are high buying intent keywords. Those are commercial keywords. Again, they don't necessarily want to rank for the keywords the news pieces rank for, right? Let's say, for example, there's a news piece going over, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Tesla discontinued their Model X and S, right? So maybe they put out a news piece going over that, right? Maybe this ranks for Tesla discontinued models, right? Now, even if this ranks for the keyword Tesla discontinued models, right, and it gets a bunch of traffic, well, most likely people won't really like, the people searching for that aren't necessarily the people that want to buy their products and services, so that they're Tesla accessories. Doesn't matter. On one hand, sure, you can get some traffic, maybe you can retarget them with ads, and maybe you can capture their emails, maybe you can convince them to buy your products eventually, right? But most of the people reading news aren't necessarily, most of the people coming to your site through having it found news pieces ranking aren't really the people who actually want to buy your products. But that doesn't matter, because the fact that all these rank, right, make the domain as a whole more relevant, make their product page more relevant, makes their homepage more relevant for the main keywords, okay? So this is good for two reasons. And it is working, right? It is clearly working. SEO, as much as people like to complicate it, it's simple, not easy, but it's all about producing content that, one, satisfies the search intent of the people searching for it, and two, building the whole brand, right? If we're producing content about our niche, right, this will make us the go-to brand, hyper relevant for whichever it is that we're selling. Hopefully that makes sense. And so again, the combination of two, the combination of creating this hyper relevancy around having all the news in one place for your specific niche in your site, right, combined with the great user experience of anyone visiting your site and buying your products can have a dedicated section about all the news there, is amazing. And this works for any niche, like gardening. Like you can have a dedicated section on your site, for example. I talk about these guys often, right? They have a blog, right, where the classic blog, and these guys pull in a ton of traffic. If I just paste this here and here, you guys can see these guys pull in almost 300,000 visits every single month. So they pull in a ton of traffic. Now, what they could do is have a dedicated news section on their e-commerce store with all the latest news in the gardening space. Because I mean, I have no idea about this niche, but I'm sure there's some new soils being released or some new techniques to grow flowers. Or maybe there's this expo where people release new gardening tools and gardening technology. They could literally have a dedicated like /news section right here on their site, where again, not only would it make sense for all the visitors on their site to look at this and browse through the news, because again, people who buy this stuff want to be informed. But second, it would make their whole domain as a whole, as a brand, become much more relevant for all the keywords they want to rank for. So it would strengthen the brand. So just like a classic blog article, just like these right here, rank for keywords as well, but they also strengthen the main brand, the main keywords that these guys want to rank for, right? And news section does the exact same thing. And so going back to this example, and again, they're not using Claude for this. They're using Arvo, which, by the way, is my tool. But I'll show you how to use Claude for this. You can also do it, and it's free. But they're basically going here to blog automation, new campaign, Tesla news blog. They're enabling this enable auto blog flow automation mode, continue, and then they're just basically selecting a news feed as their integration, and they're basically posting, I think, 2 or 3 pieces of news every day. And this just basically runs on autopilot, okay? And here's a couple of examples right here before I show you how the Claude automation works. Here's just ones that I did generate a few minutes ago. Generations. These are all news pieces, right? These are for electric cars. They all have title, featured image, table of content, and then at the end, of course, they have these sources, right? Where did our AI journalist found the info to write about it, right? There are all the sources right here. I mean, there's many more. This is for another electric car brand. There you go. This is for Apple, right? Apple. And there's all the sources where it's built the news out of from, excuse me. And it's super straightforward. Just go here, search for anything. Let's just do Pokemon. Again, you can. I spoke about this example I think last time. And by the way, you can enable like target country, target time range. You can exclude or include certain sources. But the idea here is that, for example, for Pokemon, I could have like a website that sells Pokemon cards or Pokemon memorabilia, excuse me, and having a dedicated /news section on my site, not the blog, we can have the blog as well, but having a dedicated /news section, again, it's great for the users who go there because they can go to a centralized place where not only they can buy my products, but they can also read anything and everything that's happening in the Pokemon space. And two, having this much content be produced, up-to-date content, by the way, relevant content be produced and posted straight to my site will increase the overall relevancy of my brand. Again, I can select them that I want, add article, and then I can just generate them. I can change things around if I want in the template, change the language. I can even produce articles in multiple languages at once. So I can basically both produce articles in Portuguese, English, all this stuff, news articles, by the way, in multiple different languages. So that's a whole video for another time. Like you could easily target international markets, news in Portuguese, finance news in Greek, finance news in Japanese, and whatever. You can just do a bunch of things so with this. And then, of course, just integrate this straight with your site, whichever CMS you use, and then just works on autopilot. So that's what they're using. Now, if you don't want to use Arvo, no worries, you don't need to. I'll show you how you can do it in Claude. So let's go. First things first. Let me just remove all this, and I'll leave links. I'll leave links for the prompt down below in the description, so don't worry. So the first prompt you want to do is this right here. Boom. And again, I'll leave this somehow in the description, or if you just DM me on Twitter. I'll also, just comment the word prompt down below. I'll give you my Twitter handle and just DM me on Twitter, and I'll just DM you back with this. So yeah, here's the master prompt. So basically, you tell it basically you own a site that sells niche with a URL, your site URL. Search the web for news from the past time frame in the location, because again, we want them to be time specific and location specific as well. To the niche, pick the single strongest, most relevant story and write a short, concise news article about it. Output a plain HTML file, no CSS, no styling, no decorative elements, because again, we want to keep it simple. With a headline, I mean, you can change this if you want. If you want all these elements, you can. With a headline, byline with a site name and today's dates, a featured image from and splash for relevant topics. So this is basically just going to be a not an AI image, but a stock photo, okay? A table of contents with anchor links, the article body broken into section with H2 headings, a source section at the bottom with bullets, links to every source used. Keep the writing tight and factual, no fluff. This is key right here. Again, the source is what we want. So let's just do a test right here. A niche that sells, let's just do gardening supplies with the URL. Let's just take the other example right here. We can go with this example just to keep it in the same realm. In the past, let's just do 12 days. Let's just do United States, and niche again, gardening, and there we go. Hit enter, and again, what this will do is will basically spit out something like what I showed you before, something like this, okay, for whichever niche you're choosing. This again is for electric cars, but it'll spit out a similar type of content, just like the ones that you saw before on this this niche right here. They're pulling in all this traffic, all this money. It'll do basically the same thing. So let's just wait a bit for this load. Again, it's gathering information, siphoning through the web, finding the most relevant news for this past time frame right here, and writing the whole thing. It'll take a while because again, it is siphoning through multiple sources. So the whole thing, like what Arvo does right here, and what this is doing as well, is it's taking a bunch of going to CNBC, Fox News, any gardening blogs, going to all these sources, just like a regular normal journalist would do, reading through all this and then compiling all this info into a little new piece of news, right? Which again will at the end have a section saying, hey, cited sources, by the way, we found this info on XYZ source, right? So again, just like a regular journalist, it would look at what's happening in the market and write its own take on that. And again, citing the sources as well. It's literally what this is doing, and it's literally what Arvo does as well. It's that exact same thing, okay? So there you go. Again, I made it specifically to be stripped down, make it super simple. Again, you can make it look a bit prettier, like you can have it style it better with interactive also contents. I mean, you can even add images, but it's pretty straightforward. Again, all the sources right here from where I found the info on. Super short and concise. And then I can take this right here, I can just really quickly download it. And what I like to do is go here, import from file, import what we just had right here, and there you go. So this shows me, for whichever reason, Claude doesn't really show you the image. I don't know, I'm not too sure why, but here, this right here shows it to you. So it looks decent, I think. Looks good enough. It's meant to be not really entertaining. It's meant to be concise and to the point. Okay, and then you can just take this. Command this, or just paste it straight to your WordPress site or to whichever CMS you use. Going back to Arvo again, if you want, like if you're doing this manually, if you're not just fully automating the whole thing, you can just go here to all articles, write new articles, start from scratch. You can paste this whole thing right here, and then if you want, you can change things around. You can say, for example, if you feel like there should be links here, you can just select parts of this and say, okay, add links, and the AI is going to skim through these paragraphs, skim through the context of the article as a whole, and find the best places to add links here. There you go. So again, it's just a way to make it a bit more interactive. You can, for example, transform information into tables, make a list, make a table. Again, not that you can't do this in Claude, you can, but you can really select parts of it and fully interact with it like an actual editor, like you can here. Or, for example, you can change the images around. You can say, hey, add a dog, and you basically will convert this existing context of the image, the context in where the image is placed in, which is like a news piece about gardening, and try to add a dog in there. This might not make a lot of sense, but it's just an example of what you can do with this. If, again, you want to do this manually and slowly, there you go. And then to fully automate the whole thing, well, what you can do is just change the prompt a bit, or add a secondary prompt saying, hey, okay, now give me 5 or 10 news pieces in the same niche. Hit enter, and it will do again. It will siphon through the web and find 10 new news pieces, and you can just do the exact same thing. Copy this, post it straight to your CMS. And again, this works, right? It's working for these guys clearly, right? And as I said in the beginning, right, it works for two things. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I feel like it's very important to make this point across. It is fantastic for your users to get a dedicated section on your site just for the news of your niche, right? And then all these content that you're putting out onto your site, even though it's news, doesn't matter because it's hyper relevant for your niche. So your whole domain as a whole, your DR most likely will increase. You'll get backlinks, right? And your whole, a lot of these articles, by the way, might get cited by LLMs, and your brand as a whole will gain trust. So it's going to become easier to rank for more keywords, and this is just going to go up overall. So it's a good thing in two ways. So yeah, there we go. It's going to be the exact same thing. It's searching for stories. I'm using the Claude Premium, so I mean, I'm guessing if you just use the free version, the quality is going to be less because it won't be able to go as deep into this. But regardless, you can just do it just for free. Now, again, if you just want to automate the whole thing, well, there you go. You can just go here to blog automation. Actually, feeds, create new feed, news feed. Again, just type in, for example, Pokemon news, Pokemon preview stories, and just okay, there's all these cool right here. Show advanced options, let's just do for the past month. Let's just do US, create feed. And what we can do right here, this feed, basically a feed is a living entity, and this will basically gather news and will populate this feed with a bunch of news. Then what you can do to automate the whole thing, just go to campaigns on Autoblogs, new campaign, my Pokemon site, enable Autoblog, full automation mode, hit continue, select integration, which is your site, okay, the feed you just created, which is the Pokemon news feed, and then do, okay, every day I want you guys to post out 4-5 pieces of content, news pieces of content straight to my site about Pokemon, right? And this is, again, it's based off of that feed that we just created called Pokemon news feed. And the feed is a living entity that basically does the work that you do in Claude right here, right? Of you writing and asking it to do stuff. It just does it for you automatically through APIs and through just sifting through the web and finding all this stuff. Because again, a feed is a living entity. And if I just wait, oh, there it goes. So it's now starting to populate these stories right here. It's giving me the sources as well. And then again, the automatic blog runs off of this feed, and every single day, in my case, will push out, generate 5 news articles and then post them straight to my site fully on autopilot. So it's basically, you can just run this on autopilot and have it basically work as an AI journalist, as a journalist for you, where for your niche, it's always siphoning through the web for what's happening, right? Then reading all that stuff, taking a look at all the sources, and then generating a new piece of news, and then writing it the whole thing, and then automatically posting it to your site. So basically, you can just build authority sort of on autopilot. Now, again, you can do it for free with Claude manually, right? You can. there's just two options. But if you want to automate the whole thing, well, you can sort of use Claude Code and to build out a full automation, but you'd have to grab APIs and scraping tools, which I might make a video on if you guys want. But in my opinion, and as biased as I am, it would be more expensive and a hell lot more work than just using our software, which is I think like $39 a month. So yeah, again, I'm biased, but you can do whatever you want. So yeah, that's it. And again, this works. By the way, these are not the only guys doing it. If I go here to Arvo, there was this guy that also did it. Resources, case studies. He did the same thing, but for non-English speaking niche. Where is it? That's guy right here. So he took a site from 0 to 10K a month just off of producing news pieces. I think it's this one, honestly. Let me just triple check. I really think it's this one right here. Yeah, they're basically producing news pieces, and I even revealed the domain. It's the exact same strategy. All this stuff right here is news pieces, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there you go. Like CNN. With the sources down here. So it's the exact same thing, the exact same process that these other guys are doing. It just works. And not a lot of people do this. I don't know why. Especially now that you can automate the whole thing with a tool like Arvo. So yeah, that's it. What's up, guys? I want to go over my Claude SEO automation that these guys are using to pull in 8,000 people to their site every single month. Here's the prompt. I want to give you the master prompt in a bit. You can comment the word prompt and I'll send that over to you. But I want to go over exactly what they're doing, how they're pulling in all this traffic, US-based traffic, step-by-step, ranking for almost 2,000 keywords on Google, and also having their brand be mentioned across all these LLMs. And if you're wondering what the brand is, well, here you go. I'm going to quickly show you what the brand is. Now, this works for like basically anything. These guys sell physical products, but the strategy that I'm going over right now works for agencies, softwares, local businesses. I mean, you name it. Again, this is just like what they sell. They sell like physical products, wallets and all that stuff. Okay, so let's break it down. That's the business. Okay, and let's go over their game plan right here. Again, we're going to be using Claude. It's going to be not very technical. Any of you guys following along at home can actually apply the exact same thing. And again, if you want the prompt, comment the word prompt and I'll send that over and I'll even show you how this works in action. So first things first is we have to look at, okay, this is great, right? 8,000 people. Oh, by the way, like these are 8,000 people just to their /blogs page. If we remove this right here, we can see that they get way more traffic off of Google, like 100,000 people to their site off of Google. Okay, but we're only looking at this right here for a very specific reason, which I'll go over in a bit because this is where Claude and this specific prompt comes in. Now, before I move forward, like if you guys want to check your brand mentions in LLMs, you can go to arvo.com. You can check your ones or you can check your competitors' ones. Just go here to Analytics and Reports, click on LLM Brand Monitor, the new monitor, add your brand stuff right here. And I'll show you an example for ours. For example, right here, we can see, again, for my or for any competitor one I want, I can see if we show up in any of these LLMs, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, Grok, as well as the sentiment. So if I do show up, are they saying good or bad things about us? And I can see for all these prompts, for example, for the prompt, how to automatically generate and post articles to my blog. I can click this and see further, okay, only one LLM is mentioning us. It's Perplexity. I click even further and see, okay, where? And right here we show up in this bullet list. Okay, or for example, for the prompt, is Arvo the best AI SEO software? I can click this again, of course, because the prompt is branded, right? Of course, all LLMs will mention my brand, but Grok right here says, no, we're not the best one. So it has a negative sentiment towards us. And then actually it used to be way more negative. But since then I went into these citations, edited these citations and built new citations to change the sentiment of the LLM. So again, if you guys want to track this stuff, you can do so here inside of Arvo. Now, going back here, like we have to look at, okay, sure, this is great. Again, this traffic is going to the /blogs page, but let's go deeper into this. Let's go here to look at the pages in specific. So again, all these ones right here are /blogs, right? So this is where all these people are going to. Again, 8.1 thousand in traffic, worth around 1.9K a month. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to explain like how the way in which this right here is calculated as well. If you were to be a competitor, let's say you sold wallets as well, and if you were to pay for Google Ads and bid on all these keywords to get this much traffic, the budget you'd have to spend every single month would be around $2,000 a month, and they're getting it for free, which is pretty cool. So that's where the money comes from. Now, again, going back here, looking at all these pages, if we open up all these right here, right? Open up all these right here. As expected, they're all not simple, but they're all article pages, right? Them versus the competition. A definitely wallet guide, right? Pretty straightforward article with images, links, etc. All this stuff. All these are written-based content. What is RFID blocking and how does this work? So this is a specific type of chip that these guys' wallets have that basically allows you to, if someone had like a card reader and they put it against your pants or whatever, they couldn't really steal your wallet because it blocks those card readers and all that other stuff. So again, there's just specific things about this certain product, which again, this would apply regardless of your industry, but yeah, just giving you some context right here. And again, all these written-based content, all of them, right? Can you track your car keys? Of course, they teach you how, and then of course they sell you a product that their wallet actually allows you to track your car keys. So again, it's all a funnel leading to, hey, by the way, buy our products, right? We're all here to make money. The sole reason why they're doing this and they're producing all this content and getting all this traffic is to send more people to their site to buy their products. That's basically it, okay? And that's also what I want to show you how to do. But again, I needed to give you a bit of context first as to why they're doing this and how they're doing it, okay? Now, before we go over Claude, what we're going to be doing with Claude is setting up a whole automation that basically takes in our website, our product, our competition, and a bunch more stuff. Take this in, feed this into Claude, right? Claude does the whole research for us, does every boring step of it does for us, right? Then it will spit out a list of keywords, right? Of sort of topics, right, that it thinks based on all this massive research it did, we should be producing content around, right? And then we just connect this with a platform that allows you to automate the whole thing and have it run on autopilot forever. But going back here again, like the reason why, this is pretty straightforward. The reason why this page right here is ranking for what is RFID blocking and a bunch of other keywords right there, as you can see, after the load, is because the content on this page, satisfies the search intent of all these keywords. It's pretty SEO 101. Like again, the reason why this is ranking, reason why this shows up for all these keywords is because the content on here is relevant for said keywords. So what do we need to do? Well, first we need to find the keywords we want to rank for. Ideally, it'd be high buying intent keywords. So keywords where there's a buying intent behind them. So for example, right here. Best gifts for boyfriend, or practical gifts ideas for men. So people searching for this, right? Well, we can assume that someone looking for minimalistic wallet worth ideas as a gift, or best wallet gift. So these are people actually looking for gifts. So the intent behind the search is, hey, I want to gift something to someone, right? Or for example, someone looking for Ridge wallet versus Leather wallet. This is literally comparing two brands. So someone who's comparing two brands, well, you could assume that they know what brand A is, what brand B is, what they sell, and they're looking to know which is the best one for potentially choosing between one or the other, right? So keyword research is the most boring part of it, but it's the most important thing because, you check my video from yesterday, right? We have a page on our site that gets supposedly 5,000 in traffic value, and I think it's 2K a month 2K impressions a month. But none of these people actually bought. Why? Well, for two reasons. First, because there's no really high buying intent behind this, and two, because our product doesn't satisfy the intent that these people are searching for well. But again, that's check out my other video that covers that. Now, hopefully so far this is making sense. Let's just jump straight into Claude. And by the way, if you want this prompt, just comment the word prompt and I'll send that over to you. It's quite a long prompt, but it has to be. And let me quickly show you right here what it's all about. So again, it's a 5-step prompt, step 1, step 2 through to step 5, okay? And all you want to do, all you have to change, by the way, I have the prompt right here, all you have to change is the stuff in red. So give it your website URL, the niche or the industry you're in, okay? The product you sell, the primary target audience, okay? Secondary audience if you have some, your main competitors, the price point you have, the key product differentiators, okay? Seasonal peaks, current content you have on your site, and where you sell this out to. So change this thing, and then just let Claude run the prompt not over again, once, and it will do the whole work for you. So right here, it did this whole analysis. I'll quickly show you. Based off of the prompt, it did this whole analysis, okay? Browse through the site, browse through the competitor sites, looked deeper, went to step 1, until step 2, step 5, did the whole thing, and came up with this. Now, this looks quite simple, but these are the keywords you want to target. This prompt, again, I crafted this in a way that this is all you need. Like, this prompt isn't just, hey, give me the keywords give me keywords to produce content out of to rank first on Google. No, that's dumb. Like, AI, the way it works is the better the prompt, the better the output. So you have to have a good prompt so that the output is great. And this, I mean, we can analyze this if you guys want, is quite good. So, for example, best slim RFID blocking wallet gifts for boyfriend. So, just let's analyze this. So the intent, gift, right? Someone looking for gift has a purchase intent in mind. For boyfriend, it's the ICP, the ideal customer profile. Boyfriend, spouse, dad, right? Whatever. Best, again, a modifier right there. Excuse me, not a modifier, a qualifier. Slim, modifier. RFID, feature, RFID blocking, and then the product itself, right? So these are crafted, and these are long form, by the way, as well, excuse me. They are crafted, and they're like not just randomly put in here. The prompt that I crafted for you guys, which again, you can comment the word prompt to get access to it and works for any niche, by the way, gave you this, right? And then what you can do and what you will do based out of this is, again, do the exact same thing that these guys are doing. Again, why do you think they're pulling in this much traffic? Well, if you go here and analyze that traffic exactly, well, this is where the traffic is going to. It's going to all these pages, right? All these pages that we just saw before, right? All these pages that satisfy the search intent of those keywords. That's pretty much what you're doing here with Claude. Right here. Then you take these right here, and then what you do is you can automate the whole thing. So these guys have, I don't know, they only have 244 pages. What if they had like 1,000 pages, 2,000 pages, heck, 10,000 pages, right? Well, they could most likely triple, quadruple, or 10x this traffic right there. So why are they not doing it? Well, because they're not fully automating the whole thing. Now I'm going to show you how to automate the whole thing. And by the way, if you're wondering if this is safe, etc., I mean, it's not a question of if it's safe. By default, it is safe if the content you're producing is high quality and it satisfies the search intent, right? Regardless if you use AI to generate the content or not, doesn't matter. Google doesn't care. Humans don't care. Humans don't care. Like, the only thing I care for is that when I search for something on Google, it satisfies my search intent the fastest possible. That's all I care about. So it doesn't matter if it's AI. And if you're wondering if AI content ranks, well, you can just go to arvo.com, click resources, click case studies, and watch all these ones right here. These are all AI-based content, all of them ranking like clockwork. Now, how do you go about automating the whole thing? Well, use Arvo as well. You go to blog automation right here, new campaign, my wallet, selling biz, enable auto blog, full automation mode, hit continue, select how many articles you want to push out every day. Let's just do every week. You just do 5 right there, or just do 10, why not? Then you select your integration right there, which should be connected straight to your CMS, WordPress, Blogger, Ghost, whatever, or even webhook or API. And then, as you saw before, right there, this stems from a feed right here, a feed. A feed is a living entity. So a feed could be, again, a list of keywords right here, okay? Which again, this updates to generate a feed. Basically, give it your site URL, your seed keywords, your main competitors, so your country target language, and this gives you a living entity that updates every week, right, with fresh new keywords. And then the Autoblog takes these keywords, right, and automatically, as you saw right there, boom, full automation mode. Based off of the feed you created right there and the site it's connected to, right, it produces however many articles you want every single day. So it generates and publishes the content straight to your site. But that's if you want to use Arvo's feed feature. If not, well, what you can do is you can go here, copy this based off of the main prompt, the master prompt, okay? Go here into Arvo, campaigns on blog, click any campaign right there, click SEO article, click import, and upload the Excel sheet or just manually add new rows right here, as I did right here with all the keywords, hit add keywords. Now, what this will do is will allow you to bulk generate all of this content right here, right? Again, it's semi-automatic because, again, you still have to just bump them from side to side. If you want to automate the whole thing, you can just connect this straight with the API. So with Arvo's API, which, by the way, just type in Arvo API on Google. There's the API right there. So if you're a more technical guy, you don't even have to touch Arvo's UI because you can just literally just connect with the API and have Claude do the whole research, and then Arvo automatically generate and automatically post the articles straight to your site, fully on autopilot. So you can literally do the exact same thing they're doing right here, just fully on autopilot. Just use Claude for the research, then connect with Arvo's API with Arvo, and then Arvo takes the input, so in this case the keywords, and automatically generates the content and publishes the content straight to your site and keeps on publishing as long as there are keywords, okay? That's why the feed section right there, as you saw, is a living entity, because we want it to be a living entity because we want it to keep on producing content, if that makes sense. And I know I'm mixing up a couple of things right here, but hopefully you're sticking with me again. For full automation, just use the API. It's pretty straightforward for that. Now, again, I just added these all right here. They're all right here in my inputs tab, right there, all of them right here. I can just bulk click them all and hit generate, or if I want to, I can just go here and change a couple of things in my template, so I can choose the language I want. Let's just do English, target country. Oh, let's just do English, target country, tone of voice, a point of view, formality. I can even have advanced options. If I want to bulk generate articles in multiple languages, so I can do all these 10, right? And I can do them in English at the same time as I do it in Greece, as I do it in Polish, as I do it in Spanish. So I can bulk generate a bunch of this content in multiple different languages all at once. I can connect this to the knowledge base, which is pretty valuable. So basically it allows you to upload your own brand's assets, so your YouTube channel, text documents, video files, audio documents, PDFs, whatever, onto Arvo's brain. So then Arvo is able to write brand-tailored, non-AI slop. Formatting, you can change the formatting right there. Structuring, calls to action, you can even have internal links in the articles. External, actually we could do this right now. Let's just copy this right here. What this will do is allow you to find sitemap right there. Allow you for your articles to have links to your products, links to other pages on your site. Let's see right here, test and preview. A sitemap basically is a Bible of all the pages on your site, right? So let's just cramp except to 6. External linking, images, let's just do 4 images per article. Let's just do, I don't know, Japanese cartoon style. Why not? Again, you can play around with this if you guys want. Videos, we want videos as well. Hit save. And by the way, like you can even, you can even create your own custom templates if you guys want. I mean, I won't cover this right now, but there's a way in which you can create your custom templates with a custom generation prompt and like a detailed outline in case you want like something different. Because the default, we call it SEO article, is just a featured image, table of contents, H2, image, text, H2, H3, image, text. So if you want to customize this, you want the output to be something like just an image and a table and a video, you can, or anything else you want, or 3 H3s, 4 bullets, whatever you want, right? You can customize this however you like it. So now we go here, inputs. I'll just do one right now. Why not? Let's actually just do this, this, and this, make it quick. Boom, bulk generate them all, and they'll all be, I have meta credits. Let me just quickly actually just do this right there, generate articles, and they're not generating, and I'll be back in a second once they're done. And meanwhile, while that loads, again, I want to iterate the fact that all you're doing here is taking a proven strategy that works. Again, regardless of what your niche is, what you do, I actually wanted to show you something that actually worked. Again, these guys, all they're doing it with their blogs, it's just producing content, okay? They're producing content on all of these pages. All these pages rank for a bunch of keywords. And all this stuff is, I mean, this is not hard to do. Not hard to do at all. You'll see that the articles that I will generate will look basically like this, with internal links, external links, images, videos. Like our images will look a bit weirder because we prompted them with AI to look like Japanese cartoons, but you get the point. You can literally replicate their strategy right there, right? But just do it in bulk, in mass. Have it be constantly, right, finding the keywords, generating and publishing them to your site. However many articles you want, you can even do thousands a week, right? And then you can even do multiple languages, right? Multiple languages, because this stuff right here, people search for this in Portuguese, Japanese, Greek, Mandarin. I mean, most people in the world don't even speak English, right? So you can fully set up a whole automation for all these right there. And again, you can either use Claude and get the keywords right there and then plug them into Arvo as I did right there, or you can use Arvo's feeds right there, give it all this info right here, site URL, seed keywords, competitors, all this stuff, and it will create like a list, a living entity that's constantly pulling more keywords based off of the info you gave it, and then you just connect that with the auto blog right there as you saw. Boom, full automation mode, and right here, the feed you just did, and then just let it run on how many ones you want. Or you can just connect this straight with Arvo's API if you're a technical guy and just have it run in the backend. That's basically it. Or if you're non-technical, you can even do it with a webhook, which is way easier. Right there, we have the ability to you can connect with webhooks, meaning you can just send it to Zapier or to N8N or to any of those other automation tools. It's less technical, because you can do it as well if you guys want right there. And again, you can have multiple ones running in parallel for multiple different products, multiple different languages. I mean, you get the point. Let's go here and see if this is done already. There you go. Let's just open this one right here. Rich Wallet versus Letter World, which one is best for you? There you go. All done with the images. Let's see the links. Let's see the videos. Let me just see this one right here as well, because I do want to show you the style. Yeah, there you go. By the way, there's no featured image because for whichever reason I had it disabled. I'll just enable it right now. Boom, enable it, because featured images just make the article so much better. So yeah, I'll just do another generation after, but I want to show you like right there. Right, all them videos that are relevant to what the content is about. Okay, I mean, it's just the whole 9 yards, all this fully automated for you with the style that we just did. And in case there's something you don't like about this, right? Let's say, for example, you don't like this, you can just reprompt the image and say, okay, add a dog, and the AI will. Let me just quickly top up the credits. Boom. And this will basically take into account the existing image, the context in which the image is placed in, or the article. In fact, in this case, add a dog to a similar type of images. Excuse me. This is again only if you're using AI-based images. If not, this won't really work because again, you can only reprompt AI-based stuff. There you go. So I can just accept or not. Let's just discard it. Again, you can select parts of the article and say, hey, add links right here, and the AI will find the best places to add, in this case, external links to. There you go. Boom. All of them added right there. Again, this is just a nice to have AI editor. You can sprinkle in your keywords right there. All these prompts, make it longer, make it shorter, make a list, make a table, simplify, rewrite, or even add custom prompts. Or you can just go here with the AI assistant. This is just as if you were speaking with ChatGPT. Just any prompt you give it right here can change the whole thing. So it's a bit more convenient because you can just edit it right there, and then you can just publish it straight to your site manually if you want, or again, just go with the autoblog thingy to do that for you. Now, I do want to show you, of course, before we go, one example on the generator with the featured image on, because I think that's pretty cool. So let's just do minimalist wallet worth as a gift, boom, and let's just wait for that to load, and hopefully it will have the featured image as I enabled it just a few seconds ago. And by the way, the whole reason why we're using Arvo is for the capabilities of full automation of the generation and auto-publishing straight to your site, to multiple sites, the ability to have these auto blogs running on autopilot on the back end. We're using Claude just to give it a bit more context if you want, but you don't need to. You can just use the feeds. But in case if you want to use Claude, you can. And then again, just use the workhorse that is this software to just do the whole work for you. Just push the content out, generate the content out and just push it out to your site fully in bulk on autopilot in multiple languages straight to your site. And again, giving you also the ability to create your own custom templates for the articles or edit the ones you want with all these settings, calls to action, and all this cool stuff right there in one place. And yeah, again, if you don't want this to be the default template, which is again, let me just quickly show you, intro, key takeaways, H2, image, paragraph, H3. Again, you can create your own custom template right there I mean, can literally be anything you want, okay? So yeah, let's see if this is done already. Still loading, so I'll quickly show you the templates we have right there. I have some in my account right there. Configuration article templates. I have a couple ones, for example, for listicles or for comparison pages. If you click this, you can see my whole generation prompt, right? And then the outline. The outline of this article is okay. Title, then 2 to 3 paragraphs, then an image, then a TLDR section, then 3 bullets, then an H2, then 5 bullets, then a category, then a quick table. So again, I customize the whole output of the article. And if I attach another blog to this, right, all the articles have the same structure when they're put out there, when they're published. So again, I have full freedom of if I want my own templates or if I want to just use the default one, which by the way, the default one still works as well. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. Let's see here what happened with this right here. And there you go. It is done. The full article, minimalist wallet as a gift. Again, the image right there in the style we chose. Table of contents, key takeaways section, in-article images, internal links, external links, bullets, tables, quotes, of course, relevant videos in the articles. And yeah, there you go. All done for us. It's pretty cool. And again, I can just this is basically the articles that are going to be posted to your site fully on autopilot. Or again, if you want to make some changes, just using the article editor to change that thing and just publish them straight to your site. That's it. What's up, everyone? So I want to go over my Claude SEO automation that these guys are actually implementing that's bringing in almost 20,000 in monthly organic visitors straight to their site. The growth has been insane. They're a local business based off of France. So this whole Claude SEO automation is going to be based and tailored to local businesses. So if you're a local business, keep watching. If not, well, I do think still this will still be available. So I'll just jump in. So again, they're pulling in almost 20,000 people to their site in their local language to their local business every single month. Okay. Now, because I do mention money in this video's title, I think we have to take a look at this. And I always talk about this. I always preface the video by saying this, like the value of this traffic right now is 1.7K a month. So how is this calculated? Well, if you were, and I'll go over the business in a bit, don't worry. If you were to be a competitor to these guys, so if you were to sell, if you were to be a local business in the same town, I think this is Paris, by the way, in France, and if you were to want to pay Google Ads and bid on all these keywords to get this much traffic every month, you'd pay almost $2,000 a month in Google Ads. And they're getting all this traffic for free. So it's pretty cool. Now, let's go over the business. I'll have to hide a bunch of stuff, but hopefully you guys can see what this is. They're an ophthalmologist, basically a doctor for the eyes, and they're just a classic local business. This is all in French, but they just basically are a clinic that have all these services for eye strains or eye issues, again, based off of France. And I do think this is in Paris, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it's in Lille, in the north of France. By the way, they're a real business. They have a bunch of these social pages, as they should. So I just want to give you some substance, that the business exists. They're a real life business, and yeah, that's basically it. They exist, and they're in business, and they're pulling in a lot of traffic. Now, what are they doing? So I always start these videos by saying, okay, sure, this is great. They're pulling in a lot of traffic, but how and where? Well, how? First, their domain ranks for all these keywords. But we have to take a look at the pages. So if you go here to top pages, we can see that these are the pages on their site that pull in the most traffic. For example, this page right here pulls in almost 3,000 people a month. This one, 2,000, 1,800. So a lot of people every month going to their site. Again, this is all in French. And if I just do Command F and type in post, right, you'll see that all these are post pages. Now, what does this mean? Well, let me just open up a bunch of them right here. All these are post pages. So most of the traffic doesn't even come to the homepage, right? The most visited page is this right here. Again, I'll just open up a bunch of right here. And all of these are, hopefully I can hide enough things that you guys don't figure out who the business is, but all these are content pages, article pages. It's literally, it's all the same thing. All of these are content pages going over their users' pain points. Again, with images, internal links to other pages on their site, external links, bullets, tables, quotes. Again, just full-on content-based pages, just content-based pages. Now, this is very important. On one hand, because all these pages rank on Google and pull in a bunch of traffic, as you see right here, but also because they now get their mentions, the pages and the content on the pages are getting cited and mentioned by all these LLMs. You know, it's just the beginning, but it's growing, right? As the site's traffic grows, there's a correlation between how well you perform on the classic Google search, or how much traffic you get from Google and Bing, and how many mentions you get across these LLMs. So their brand is being mentioned in Google's AI reviews, ChatGPT, and now on Compiled and Perplexity. And by the way, if you want to know which LLMs mentions your brand, you can just go to arvo.com, new monitor, add your brand right here. Let me just show you an example for our brand that we can track if we show up in ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, Grok, and also the sentiment. So in case we do show up, are they saying good or bad things about us? And for example, for the prompt, how to automatically generate and post articles to my blog, I can click this, I can see, okay, only Perplexity mentions our brand, these don't. And I can click here and see, okay, where? And we are mentioned here in a table. Now, for example, for the prompt, is Arvo the best AI SEO software? Well, of course, we are mentioned across all these LLMs because, again, the brand name is in the prompt. But Grok says bad things about it. There's a negative sentiment. While all these other ones are positive, right? I can click here and see, okay, Grok says no. Arvo is not the best one. Then I can look at their sources and see, okay, why are they saying we're not the best one? Can we edit those sources? Can we create new sources to change the LLM sentiment? Maybe we can. And so I can add as many prompts as I want and measure this as I'd like for my brands, even for my competitors' brands. If I want, I can add literally any URL right here and monitor my competitors. So there you go. That's how you track this right here. Now, going back to the pages, again, all this is simple article pages. Now, the reason why they rank, and oftentimes people think blogging is dead. It is not. The reason why these pages rank is because they satisfy the search intent of these keywords. And I know this is a bit theoretical at first, but I do want to go over the Claude automation, but we have to understand the why. Why does this happen? Well, why are they getting all this traffic? Again, it's because the pages, the content on their site is optimized for these keywords, right? Thus, when people search for these keywords on Google, right, their content surfaces because Google thinks, okay, this is the best piece of content I can provide to the end user that satisfies their search intent the best, right? Be it an informational piece of content, a how-to, doesn't matter, anything related with their business. That's why this works. Now, how could you implement the same thing onto your business, onto your local business, regardless if you're on the same niche or not, right? Doesn't matter if you're in a different niche. Well, go over here, Claude, and you can use the following prompt. And I will do this live, by the way. So I own a local business in country named name with a URL. I want you to browse my site and understand exactly how we're at. So basically, you guys can comment prompt. I'll just give it a link to this prompt. I'll create a link on my site with this prompt. So what we do here is just copy this right here, copy URL, actually country, France, name, URL. There you go. And then there's a whole set of prompts. Just hit enter. Now I'm using Claude's extended thinking because I pay for it, but I do think if you use the free version, it'll also be good enough. But again, all it's doing right now, it's browsing to the site, because the whole idea of this big prompt is to have Claude browse to the site, understand what the business is, what they do, who they serve, so what's their ideal customer profile, like what's the ideal target customer, right? Their competition, analyze the whole niche and understand exactly what the business is, what they sell, etc. Right? So that's basically what this prompt is doing. And you need, of course, to produce a proper SEO strategy, in other words, to be able to produce content that ranks for the keywords you want to rank for, commercial intent keywords, by the way, that gets this traffic. Well, the AI needs to understand what your business is beforehand. You need to give it a lot of context, by the way. And then the second part of the prompt is basically saying, hey, by the way, I want you to make a list of commercial intent keywords. So I don't want to rank for what is, I don't know, let's say, for example, I have a plastic surgery clinic. I do nose jobs, right? I don't want, if I have a local business for that, I don't necessarily want to rank for what's a rhinoplasty, right? Because people searching for what's a rhinoplasty, well, rhinoplasty is like a surgery to the nose, right? People looking for what's a rhinoplasty, well, they might not necessarily be my target client, right? I want to rank for how much does a rhinoplasty cost, or before and after of a rhinoplasty, or is it safe to make a rhinoplasty if you're like 50 years old? So these are high buying intent keywords, or commercial intent keywords, where the intent behind the person who's searching, right, is commercial, okay, not necessarily informational. So yeah, let's just wait for this. There you go. Okay, perfect. Now I then asked it to make a table, and this is what the prompt will output. Basically, in this case, in this case, it is in French because the business is French, right? But I asked it to give me a list of commercial intent keywords, high buying intent keywords, right? And then a title, right, of a potential article that would best satisfy the intent of this search query, okay? Again, this is in French because the business is in France. Hopefully, maybe I can translate this to English so you guys can see a bit of an example. Let's see, translate this into English. Boom, let's see, just so you guys can see like a small preview of this. Okay, there you go. So for example, which cataract implant to choose? So someone looking for this, like which basically eye implant to choose, well, they know what the issue is. They know that they need an implant, and they're looking for the best one to choose based on their specific pain point. So again, these are all commercial high buying intent keywords. For example, and by the way, location based, Lille. This is the name of the city, Lille. Okay, Lille. Okay. Let me see another one, for example. This is the perfect example, like cornea gutata of ophthalmologist Lille. I mean, all these are high buying intent keywords, or at least there's some commercial intent behind the search of these keywords. Hopefully that's making sense so far. Okay, now, going back here, all that you do next is ask it to scroll down right here. Hopefully I'm not revealing any information that I shouldn't be. Now we just say, okay, now based on this, I want you to go ahead and by the way, because on the original prompt, I give it like all that I want you to do, like now write the content. The content needs to be pointed to the point, concise, no fluff, internal links, external links. So I gave it the whole gist on how to write the proper article with all the elements I want. So let's down here just say, okay, now based on this, I want you to go ahead and generate the first article for the first item on the table. Give me it in Markdown format, please. This is if you want to just put it in WordPress or any of these CMS. It's easier if it's Markdown. So let's just wait for this to load and I'll be right back. And by the way, you can beef up the prompt by giving it a list of competitors, which will be what we do after for the backlinks, because content, right, it's just a small part. It's one of the three pillars of the SEO game. We have three pillars in the SEO game, right? We have on-page SEO, we have off-page SEO. That's two Fs. We have technical SEO. On page is basically everything that happens on the site, like the keywords you target, the content you write, how you write it, how you put the content into your site. It's everything that happens on your site. Off page, it's everything that happens off your site, basically backlinks, okay? And then technical SEO is the boring part, like site speed, schema markup, meta titles, meta tags, canonicals, image alt text, internal links, all the boring stuff, okay, which is still very important, by the way, because if you have an amazing on-page, an amazing off-page, but then your site speed is super slow, well, even if you rank first, people will click your site, it will take ages to load, people are just going to click off and, yeah, just basically click the second guy. So they're equally as important, these three. And what I usually recommend you guys you do is just get this tool, because then you can go here, type in any competitor domain, and click here and literally look at all their backlinks they have. So you can just copy the backlinks all the guys have. And by the way, I'll leave a link in the description for a free course as well. Actually, yeah, I'll just open it up here, my YouTube channel, so I can show you guys real quick. go to my channel, type in backlinks, and there's a bunch of tutorials for free on exactly how to build backlinks. There you go. So there's a bunch of them. Watch this one and watch these two. And if you want, like, you can also pay me. Click here. You can just pay me to build these backlinks for you. The backlinks that I teach you how to build on these videos that I just showed you are the exact same backlinks I build on here. DR 40 plus guaranteed, 1,000 plus months later instead of traffic. I mean, if you want to buy them, you go ahead. If you just want to do it yourself, just watch the videos on here. It's basically the same thing. But yeah, going back here again, we have to talk about backlinks because, again, as I said before, there's 3 pillars we need to obey by or to follow, right? Not just the one, not just the content. Now, content is very important, and you can rank without backlinks in less competitive niches, but links are still very important. So you can go on Claude and type in this prompt: "Hey, I own a local business in country, whatever name and whatever I own a local business in country, whatever name with the URL. I want you to browse the site, understand the business, etc. Then I want you to look for 5 to 10 competitors in the areas we serve that offer the same or similar services, and I need their site's URL." So you can just do this real quick here. Boom, boom. And what you can do after is take all... Oh, Jesus. Okay, so I've just set my limits on the Pro. Yeah, I've been using this way too much. Actually, let me just keep working. Just use the free version. Never mind. Well, point being, I wasn't expecting to hit the limits, but basically it's going to spit out a list of URLs. Now, you can't get Claude to build backlinks for you automatically, but again, you can get it to look for and browse the web for the guys with the people who are targeting the same keywords you are, okay? Then take these URLs right here, place them into Ahrefs right there, click on the backlinks and look for the backlinks they have, then basically open them all up, sort by DR, and actually I'll show you right here real quick here. If this was one of the competitors, just go here, sort by DR, look at the most powerful backlinks, open these all up, see if they look real, see if they make sense, have some critical thinking, and then just reach out to these guys' site and say, "Hey, by the way, I saw you have a link on your site to these guys. How much do you charge to make a link to my site as well?" And by the way, I explained all this stuff in these videos, so just watch those. Yeah, if you guys want me to go over this in more depth, let me know. But basically, all you need to know to build backlinks is basically already on these ones right here. So I don't want to make this video super long because it's the same process. And just use a prompt like this on Claude to get the competitors. By the way, if you're a more technical person, you can even go to Ahrefs because now they offer their API in their $130 a month plan. You can connect to their API. So basically, if you connect Claude with Ahrefs API, all the work that you're doing right here, sort of manually and looking through the links, you can have basically Claude go in here and do it automatically. Okay. Then the outreach part, you still have to sort of do it manually, unless you set up a whole workflow, which I can do for you guys. If you guys want me to do work on that, let me know. Because in essence, anything you do manually, you can just basically automate with AI and agents. But yeah, I feel like it's very important that I show you and teach you how to do it manually, because then if you want to do it, if you want to automate it, well, first you have to know how to do it manually, I feel like. So yeah, there you go. And let's go back here, and we have the first full-on article. Yeah. That's basically that's it. Now, again, I can just copy this real quick here. Let me just quickly show you here in a article, right from scratch. This is just easier. Now, this is the whole thing, okay? Now, there isn't images for some reason. It messed up. Basically, I can just delete this right here. Boom, let's just clean this up a bit. Boom, I can go here and here, not an image. Let's just do one with AI. Let me just see. Boom, 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 boom. Now it's going to generate an image based off of my prompt. Again, I basically just use this editor to just beef up the content in case Claude has some mistakes or doesn't have the images or the links or the embeds. I just use the editor to beef it up a little bit. Boom, there you go. Again, makes perfect sense. This is AI based. Doesn't really matter right now. Okay, there you go. So if I like what I see, I can just go here, publish article, and publish it straight to my integration. With Claude, you can really automate the whole thing because, I mean, yeah, Claude doesn't publish straight to your site. But with this, you can just go here and publish straight to your site. This integrates with all these CMSs right here. And one thing you can do as well is you can set up an automatic blog. So you can just go here, new campaign, doctor, enable auto blog, full automation mode, continue, and then you can just select your integration site, right? And then you can set an interval on how many articles you wanted to publish every single day. So instead of using Claude to generate the content, you can just use this to just fully automate the whole thing. But more on this later on. My point is to show you how to use Claude. And the whole thing, like, this is not hard. Like, anyone who just watched all the way through understands how this works. It's, again, just reverse engineering what your competitors might be doing. Because if I was to be one of these, If I were to be like a clinic, in France that had this same service, what I'd do is, okay, I'd say, okay, these guys are massively succeeding, bunch of traffic for a bunch of keywords, the growth is astonishing, right? What are they doing, right? Just reverse engineer what's working, right? Just go here, look at the top page and say, okay, sure, they're producing a bunch of content targeting XYZ keywords. I just look at all the content. It's simple article pages, pretty straightforward. I too can do this. Not only that, I can fully automate the whole thing and make it even faster with AI. Be it by using Claude, just make sure that you mention that you want to like go for high buying intent keywords, or by using it to like Arvo to just have an automatic blog running on autopilot. Because this as well, like if you just go here, create new feed, keyword feed, add your URL, your main keywords, list of your competitors, target country, target language, this will speed out basically, let me just see here, based off your competition, your site, all this cool stuff, a list of keywords, right? Which by the way, updates every single week. Okay, so every week it updates with fresh new keywords. Then you just connect this with an automatic blog, new campaign, boom, 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 full automation mode, continue. Select the feed you just created right there, right? The keyword feed you just created. And then again, this is going to be running on autopilot, like full on the back for you, like just forever. There's stuff like, for example, the knowledge base where you can basically upload onto our AI context, like your URL, text documents, video documents, TXCs, a bunch of brand assets, so that the AI, is able to write brand tailored content. So brand content, in your brand's tone of voice, brand's mannerisms, basically non-AI slop, which sometimes Claude can write, which kind of sucks. But yeah, so you can fully just do this one by one with Claude and just copy what it gives you and just push it to your site's CMS, or fully automate the whole thing with Arvo, with the automatic blog thing that just runs in the back on autopilot forever, right? And then again, in case you want to use both and still want to do manually, just copy this, go to Arvo, articles, new article, as you saw before, write article, paste it in here, and just go in and edit some stuff, right? For example, you can just select parts of it and say, I think this is too short, make it add links or add keywords, or make it longer, make it shorter, make a list, make a table, or even add a custom prompt, or like just like with Claude, where you can just basically go here and just give it a whole prompt to change the whole thing. Right here you can as well. This is just a bit more SEO tailored. You can go here to AI system, just give it any custom prompt, and anything you put here will change the whole thing according to what your prompt is. Add the images, etc., and just go there and publish it straight to your site. Again, you can use a mix of things. I own Arvo. I'm fully biased. This is my tool. If you buy it, I make money. That being said, as biased as I am, the fact that this allows you to automatically publish to your site or manually, by the way, I think it's just a cool add-on. You can use these two tools interchangeably. If you don't like Arvo's output for generation, you can just use Claude and then just leverage Arvo for the automation of the publishing on the back end if you want. And by the way, like, going over this again, there's a bunch of customization you can do right here real quick, because we try to give you as many degrees of freedom as possible. So right here, you can change like an insane amount of settings, right? Language over 150 different languages, target country, because this matters, of course, right? I can write it in English, but I can be targeted in the UK or Australia and the US. And it's a whole different thing on the way we write, right? Tone of voice, point of view, formality, advanced options, knowledge base. This is where, again, you connect this to web or to existing knowledge base so that the content is non-AI slop. Formatting, structure, you can change the whole structure, article size, call to action at the end. Internal linking structure, because again, you want the articles to have links between each other, right? External linking, images, AI images, stock photos, custom images, even custom prompts, if you do choose AI images, video embeds, I mean, a bunch of whole stuff right there. Or you can even like create your own custom template if you want. This is a bit more advanced, but again, we just give you all the freedom you need. I'll actually show you quickly an output of this, of an article that I generated like some time ago. Let's see, for example, I don't know, LinkedIn growth, whatever. Well, this is all done with AI. I chose a bit of weird images right there, but all done with AI with the internal links, external links, in-article videos that are relevant to what the content is about, all this done for you automatically. And again, if there's something you don't like, you just go here and say, okay, revision real quick. Let me just go in and add links, add keywords, change up the images with any custom prompts. Okay, it just gives you a bunch of freedom in case you guys want to change things. But that's the whole gist of this, right? It's simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. Take the prompt, again, just comment the word prompt and I'll send the prompt over to you. It's not nothing complex. Change the URL of your business or your client's business, the country, the location, and then just have it produce a similar table like this. Okay, these are going to be for high buying intent keywords, right? And then ask it to generate the content, right? And regardless if you use Arvo to edit it or not, or if you just copy this and post it straight to your site, this can work, okay? It's working for them. there's no reason why it shouldn't work for you as well. And also, by the way, this is something else. Usually for non-English speaking niches, this is 10 times easier because there's way less competition, right? So if these guys were to be targeting these same keywords, but for the American market, most likely they wouldn't be pulling not even half of this, right? But because they're targeting the French market, which is again less competitive, right? But there's still a lot of search volume. Well, they can do this, right? So think about ways in which maybe you can either target non-English speaking people, even if you live in a mainly English speaking country, right? Because for example, in the US, there's a lot of Spanish speaking people, so you can even target, even though your business in the US, you can produce content in Spanish to target those people and get those people into your business. Or if you live around Europe, Asia, whatever, you can just see, and instead of just going for English-based keywords, go for the French, Greek, Thai, I don't know, any non-English speaking keywords, because they're way easier to rank and way easier to pull in a bunch of traffic. That's it. This Claude SEO prompt right here allows me to build backlinks that come from DR 83 sites, DR 54, 32, 37, all on autopilot. 51 as well, by the way. I want to show you exactly step by step what this Claude prompt is, how you can do it too. And if you want the prompt, comment the word prompt and I'll send it over to you. Now, what this prompt does is it goes out and finds one of the most, I guess, beautiful links, one of the links that I like to build the most, okay? And what it does, before I show you how the prompt works, let me show you the back end, how you do this manually, and then I'll show you how this prompt fully automates the whole thing, okay? So what these are, all these are, you'll notice that all these are .org domains, .org, 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 all these very powerful are .org domains. Now, these are simply, most of the times, non-profits, NGOs, right? Like this, like powerful sites. This is for I think cancer research. This is for veterans. Okay, these are all powerful domains, .org, non-profit organizations, trustworthy sources, and we can get links from them, which is super cool. Like Greyhound, this is like a pet, I guess, saving organization. I mean, these exist in any niche, right? And the way you found them manually would be to going for a site like this. I'll leave a link for this in the description. Type in your city. Let's just do, for example, Dallas, right? And this gives you a ton of NGOs or nonprofits in your city, okay? And there's a caveat here. The reason why these are super valuable is because any of these ones you open, like any of these, like I don't know what this even is, Jewish Council for Aging, Greater Washington. I mean, there's literally NGOs for anything you can think, like lawyers. Let's see what this one is. Students, like learning, right? All these, if you scroll down to the bottom, most of them will have something called like ambassadors, donors, right? You'll find it right here. Let me see if I can find it. Resources, about us, donate. I don't want the donate page. I want the page that shows all the donors. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, never mind. This page is actually where they put the donors. So if you do donate, you get a link here to your site. In every single one of these pages right here, there's a, businesses, there's always a page for where they show the people who actually donated. For example, let's see this right here. Again, Dallas Pet Dive. This is a charity for pets. If you just scroll down and click on supporters, right? There's always a page, if it's called supporters, donors, whatever, right? Always a page that where this is all linked to all these, where these all link to the donors, like the people who donated. These are literally links. You can see here on the bottom left-hand corner, links to these guys' sites. So you're getting a backlink from a powerful .org domain, hyper niche specific, and you're doing it for a good cause. Like I'm sure you can even tax offset this. So you're spending money to build backlinks to have your site rank higher on Google, and you're doing it for a good cause, and you're paying less taxes. It's one of my favorite backlinking strategies that is. And honestly, not a lot of people talk about this. So yeah, that's basically the whole strategy. This is exactly what this Claude prompt does, right? Based off of this long prompt, which has multiple steps, right? You just have to give it your niche. I just gave it dog grooming, your location, right? Your website is optional, right? And based off of this, it'll do the whole research and find, okay, here's what it found. So, okay, it found these guys right here. All pod links confirm, yes, logos with visits. So it finds actual sources you can donate to, and that in fact, if you do donate to, they have pages like this with the logos that are clickable, that get you a link to your site, right? It gives you all this breakdown. There's some small notes, for example, this right here. Let's see what this one says. DallasPetLife.org. Yes, logos and images links to external sites across multiple sponsor categories. Let's click here and see what this is all about. So this is the one that I was just checking. Let's see another one right here, for example. Yes, resources page lists, grooming daycare partners with clickable links and promo codes. Let's see here if I can open this and check it real quick here. Resources, Yeah, I guess these are basically the donors. Yeah, there you go. So you get a link with a logo and yeah, back to your site. So this Claude prompt gives you, for based off of your niche, this is my niche, just Dallas dog grooming, right? Gave me a bunch of these sites right here that actually have ability for you to donate to them, and also have a page where you know that if you do donate to them, it will give you the ability to have a link back to your site. So literally, it's all it's doing. It's going through this site and many others, typing in your location. You can do, for example, Miami. I don't know where you're at, but I like this to be specific, and you'll find like NGOs that are non-profits in your niche. You can see, okay, Miami Lighthouse for the blind. Okay, I don't know, maybe you have you're in this niche, you can open their site right here. Okay, let's see .org. Okay, the donate now page, let's see what their metrics are, see if it makes sense for us to build it. Okay, 46, quite a powerful site, .org. And if it's in your niche, if you're in the medical niche to some extent, you can literally donate to these guys. It's a good deed, it's a tax write-off, and you get a powerful link, and most likely a dedicated page where they link back to you. Again, it's pretty powerful. This is exactly what this prompt does. Comment the word prompt, I'll send this over to you. I'm very excited for you guys to try this out and see the results, because these links are super powerful. Oh, and by the way, after just sending like something like this, like an email saying, hey team, I'm my name, owner of the business name, based in city, whatever, right? I'd like to make a donation to support what you're doing. I notice you have a sponsor partners page on your site. Could you share the details on your sponsorship tiers? What's included at each level? If a listing with a link back to our website is part of the package, that would be a great way for us to publicly show our support and help spread the word in the local community. So something like this, again, you can just screenshot your screen right now and just upload this screenshot into ChatGPT and ask it to convert the screenshot into text. Then you just have access to all this stuff. Then yeah, just go into the thingy and just find their contact information, right? I don't know where, which depending on what one you want to use for. Let's go for this one. There's the email right there, and then just send them that. I mean, they will respond. They respond. I mean, they always respond to me every single time. So just do that. It's pretty straightforward email. And yeah, because I mean, they want your money, so they'll accept it. So there you go. Onwards with the video. Turns out Claude can now build SEO backlinks to your site automatically. Well, sort of. Take a look at this. This is the prompt I'm using, and if you guys want the prompt, just comment the word prompt and I'll send this over. And what this does, it has a role, gives you the role. They're basically a senior LLM SEO strategist, okay? And I'll go over what this all means. Giving you the context, so you need to upload your brand URL. Let's just do, for example, mine, arvo.com. Again, goes over the core features, the ICP, the customer demographics, etc. And basically understands your business in this context prompt right here. That's why putting in the URL is very important, right? Then there's a mission. It's going to give you 15 high buying intent prompts, and this is all going to make sense in a bit. And then the criteria, right? These prompts need to reflect late stage buying intent, natural phrasing, and a couple more things. Then there's the methodology and the output format. Let's just hit enter so you guys can see what this is all about. Now, what this will do, like the output of this prompt is going to be a couple other prompts, right? And then we're going to take these prompts, and that's how we're going to be able to generate the backlinks. Okay, but this is very important that the prompt is long, very specifically, and you can see that it's doing a full-on research and they're saying what the business is, because if you want to build backlinks, right, backlinks need to be both powerful, okay, and relevant, right? And the relevancy comes heavily from understanding what your business is, and the sites, like the backlink opportunities we can gather, right? These, right, need to be in line with what your business is. Like there needs to be some synergies between what you sell and what you get backlinks from. Again, sure, if you let's say you sell motorcycles, right? Having a link from a site that sells kids toys, well, maybe isn't the best backlink to have. I'd much rather have a link from a garage, a mechanic, a car parts shop, wherever. Like all these are in the same realm of motorcycles than toys, kids toys, right? So again, it's a mix of relevancy. This is what relevancy is, and power. By power, I mean metrics. So the DR, UR, the traffic, and all this good stuff. Okay, but we'll jump into this in a bit right now. Okay, so there you go. Understood the brand. You guys can read this if you guys want for your own brands. But again, the prompt was made in a way to heavily not teach, but heavily tell the LLM to actually understand what your brand is about. Because now with these prompts, like this, I know maybe the output might seem underwhelming because yeah, sure, Vasco, these are just some random prompts. But no, the prompts right here are not random. They're here for a reason, right? They're here because it analyzed my business, and basically this mega prompt is asking AI to come up with a list of prompts, 10 prompts that potential buyers of whatever it is that I'm selling would be searching for in LLMs. In other words, it analyzed my business and it thought, okay, if I was a potential buyer of the products Vasco's business sell, what prompts would I be looking for and searching for into LLMs that could lead me to if Vasco's business was recommended, was cited by LLMs by his services. Okay, so there's a thought process behind what's right here, which is done in the mega prompt. And again, if you guys want the prompt, just comment the word prompt. Now, what this is very important. It even gives me the how product to where they are, feature specific pain points of the intent angle, and why it converts. So what we do, again, is we take this right here, right? We open up your favorite LLM, let's just do ChatGPT, right? You can do it whichever one you want, and type in that prompt right here, okay? What AI SEO writer actually auto-publishes WordPress? I'm tired of copy-paste every article into my site. Boom. So again, what you're gonna do is you're gonna copy these prompts, right? These prompts, they are longer, they're shorter, doesn't really matter, but they're prompts, right? Stuff like, for example, best tool to repurpose my English YouTube videos into French or Spanish blog posts for SEO. Again, it's not that, because we don't know the search volume of these, right? Unfortunately, like, LLMs don't give us a search volume for prompts, right? And like with Google, like if you go to Google Keyword Planner, any keyword you put in here, like best AI writer, right? It gives you the search volume. So Google gives us this data. Let me just quickly change this to US, for example. There you go. So it gives us the average monthly search volume. LLMs don't, like GPT or any other LLM doesn't share this data with us. And more specifically is because like the way in which you interact with LLMs, right? It's much more specific. You don't search for this stuff on Google, right? Nowadays you might, because like, as you can see, Google now has, if you search for this right here, Google is now changing, and the search realm is changing. If you search for something that Google thinks should give you an AI overview, or that could lead you to an AI mode, which is basically Google's version of ChatGPT, they will. So I feel like a couple months ago, and even till now, people still use Google for short stuff, like best AI SEO writer, right? The people would not search for this on Google, right? Again, we're changing as we go, like the habits of people. Again, if I were to want to look for a tool that was an AI SEO writer, if I was to use Google for that, for my search, I just type in best AI SEO writer. That's what I would do. If I were to want to use ChatGPT for that, I wouldn't type this. I would just type a longer prompt. I'll just say something like this, for example. I'll give it more context, right? That's the main difference right now between the classic LLM engines like GPT, Claude, Perplexity, whatever, and Google. That being said, Google is changing. And because Google now by default has the AI mode, the AI previews and the AI mode embedded in it, I feel like, and I could be wrong here, but I feel like the industry and the people's habits are changing to also use Google directly for longer prompts, if that makes sense. So when you're right here, when you open a new tab, when you search right here, you're going to be searching here as if this was basically ChatGPT, because you know that if you search for longer prompts, you can open the AI mode. While before, when this wasn't here, or when the AI overview wasn't there, searching for longer prompts would be a pain in the butt, because, I mean, searching for stuff like this in the search bar would give you, like a year ago, right, would give you just this, okay? So just the 10 blue links, and you could not interact with it. While again, if you were to do the same thing in an LLM, you give it a prompt, it gives you an answer. You could go back and forth with the answer, prompt, answer, until the answer you have at the bottom would be satisfying the search intent of your prompt. Now, I know this is a bit off track, but this is very important because we're all marketers, right? And the way in which people interact with search engines changes the way in which we do marketing, okay? And just to reiterate my point again, which is that previously when people were using Google, this would never happen. They would never search their pain point with a long prompt because they knew that would just be 10 blue links, and it would be much smarter to take this and put it into an LLM, because like ChatGPT, because you were able to speak back and forth with it. It will give you a long answer. It wouldn't give you 10 blue links, and you can go speak with it back and forth again. But now that if you type this on Google, it gives you an AI review, which you can interact even further with the AI mode, right? People will start typing out these longer prompts into Google by default. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Now, that said, going back here to the backlink thing, right? So for this prompt, how are backlinks here involved? Well, what we do is we know we want our brand to show up for this prompt. Okay, I sure know I want, and in fact we do. Right, already shows up here, but let's assume we didn't, okay? What we do is we take a look at all the brands that did. These guys, and oftentimes you'll notice that the brands that show up, right, the cited source is their website, right? Brand cited source is the site. Brand cited source is the site. Brand cited source is the site. And that happens in a lot of cases. This means that this is not a very good prompt to find backlinks. So let me just go over with another one. Let's see here. Let's just do this right here. New window, and paste this on into GPT here. And let's see what it comes up with. Again, trust me, it's all gonna make sense. The prompt is, how do I track whether ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity mention my brand when people ask buying questions in my niche? Again, I don't know if there's search volume for this prompt. We don't know because Google doesn't give us the search volume. That said, I know that for the intent of this prompt, which is the same intent of like someone searching on Google for example, LLM rank tracker or LLM brand monitor or chat GPT rank tracker. So it's the same intent, right? Anyone typing this prompt right here has a similar search intent of someone typing this in, okay? It's basically what we can extrapolate from this. So sure, you can go into Google Keyword Planner, see the search volume for this keyword, and then if you want to target a longer prompt, like for example, what's the best AI writer for 2026, which if you plug this into Google Keyword Planner, it'll give you 0% zero search volume, of course, because it's too long and there's not enough data for this, because there's not enough people searching for this. That said, the intent of this prompt is the same intent of the people searching for this. So you can assume that this prompt would have a similar or at least enough searches that would be worth targeting. And then, I mean, if you just don't want to look at the data, which you don't need to look at the data, if you know your business, if you know your customers, if you know your industry, you know the prompts that have search volume to some extent, right? So that's a video for another time. Again, let's go back here and see, okay, what are the brand? Okay, there you go. So, okay, this is done, but this was also a bad prompt because there's not enough citations right here. So let's just try one more time. Let me just choose one of these prompts. Let's go with this one, for example. Open up here a new chat window, paste this in. Let's just change this to standard so it's a bit faster. And let's just go with this, wait for this to load. And again, this is a prompt. This is a prompt that I want my brand to be cited for. Or I guess this is one of the prompts that has a search intent, right? Because there's multiple of these prompts, infinite variations of these prompts. Like I don't like search for SEO, or I'm switching from, or give me a better alternative. So there's infinite prompts with the same search intent. So this is one search intent, SI search intent that I want my brand to be cited for. Okay, just one of many. One of many prompts that target that same search intent. Okay, so there you go, and our brand is cited first right here. But I want you to look at the citation. So yeah, we show up first, but we don't necessarily show up first because of the info on our site, right? Because the cited source right here, our brand is mentioned in this source right here, and this source is being cited, and that's why our brand is showing up right here. For example, these guys right here, sure, one of the citations is their own domain. The other one is as well. For example, these guys are placed on this right here. So again, the reason why these guys show up right here for this search prompt is because this LLM found info in this page right here that talks about the 12 best tools, whatever, and they're most likely mentioned somewhere around here. Let me see quickly. There you go. So they're mentioned right here. So again, the reason why for this prompt they show up right here is because their brand is mentioned in this source that's being cited. So where did the backlinking building comes in? Well, you open up all of these sources right here, right? And you think, okay, if the brands in this source are being mentioned because this source is cited for this prompt right here, well then I want to also include my brand in this source that I know is being cited for the prompt I want my brand to show up for. Okay, that's a 2-in-1, because the second thing is that most likely this site right here has a high DR of 21. Okay, it's not high, but it's decent. Okay, and by the way, it's a niche specific site. Get AI chatbots talking about your brand. So it's in the same niche. I don't know what these guys do, but I can tell just with a few seconds, it is in the same niche. So not only do you get a relevant link, okay, same niche link, same sort of realm, you get a powerful link. I mean, DR 21. It is decent. Okay, it's not the most powerful one, but it's the first one I just found, right? It is decent. The site maybe it's just a bit starting out, so it is somewhat decent. Okay, it's not bad, it's not amazing, but it's decent. Okay, and then you get a placement on a domain and on a page that you know is currently being cited for the prompt you want to show up for. So it's, I don't know about I don't even know how to say this. It's like I guess a cited placement, if that makes sense. And so what you do basically is, again, use that mega prompt that I just sent you. Look at the prompts it does, paste them into any LLM, right? And look at this right here. This is the most important thing. You can even open it up right here, sources. You can open up all of them and see, okay, what are these sources right here? Okay, can we show up in these right here? Most likely we can. Okay, and I'll go over that in a bit right now. But before that, look at this right here. These guys, which are a competitor of ours, I think. Let me just quickly see what these guys sell. Let's see here. Okay, it's a WordPress plugin, not really, but somewhat. And why do they show up first? And why are they being shown up right here? Well, it's because one of the sources is actually our source, where we mention these guys. Let's just go Control C, Command V. They show up right here. They're mentioned right here. So I'm doing this to myself, sort of, right? These guys, the only reason why they show up right here, or one of the reasons why they show up right here, is because ChatGPT found that for my prompt, these guys were relevant to satisfy the search intent of my prompt because they found them in this source right here, source which mentions them right there. So hopefully this is making sense, okay? So use the mega prompt, comment the word prompt, and take the prompts it sends you, paste them into ChatGPT, paste them into Claude, paste them into whichever LLM you want to use, right? Look at the sources, right? And then final step, which is the easiest step, okay, don't overcomplicate this, is to just get in touch with them. Just go scroll down, click on, there we go, it's easier. Just get in touch with this guy on LinkedIn. Just send him a DM, call DM. A lot of these guys will have like contacts pages on the side. Just open up the contacts page and say, hey, by the way, found that you guys had copied the URL for this post on your site. How much do you guys charge to include my brand as a 13th source right here? I'll pay you $50. Or how much do you guys charge to create a new article that mentions my brand? Trust me, most of these guys, 90% of these guys, especially with the ones with the lower DR, will accept money for the links. And if you want to do it for free, they can also do link exchanges, where basically they put a link, they create a page on their site, right? On their site, linking to your site in exchange of you creating a page on your site, linking to theirs. So it's a link exchange. So it's basically a free link. You give them one, they give you one. That's basically it. So don't overcomplicate that. Now, if you want to automate this a bit more, you can go to Arvo as well, to LLM brand monitors, click a new monitor, right there. Add your brand or any competitor's brand right there. And this will give you basically a list of all the prompts, basically tell you first if you show up in any of these LLMs, so it gives you the visibility tracking. Also the sentiment, if you do show up in where you what the sentiment is, and then you can track as many prompts as you guys like, right? Or even bulk import prompts. And for example, for the prompt, let's see, what's the best SEO software for agencies? I can click this. I can see, okay, sure, none of these LLMs mention me. That sucks. That said, I can do again the same thing that I told you. I can click this and I can see, okay, these guys are mentioned. Why? Let's just open up all these sources right here. Like, can I get included in any of these sources right there? Surely I can, right? I can click this and can see, okay, let's just do Gemini, for example. Actually, let's just do ChatGPT. Why not? Okay. These guys are mentioned. Why? Because they show up right here. Can I have my brand included right here? Most likely I can, right? Most likely I can pay these guys to include my brand right there. There's a contacts page. Surely I can attach how much you guys charge. It's basically it. And these guys, how much is the DR? Let's quickly see right here in live on the video. DR of 64. Quite a decent backlink. And most likely I can even do a link exchange because my domain authority is also quite high. Yeah, I can most likely do a domain exchange, or at least lower the value of the price of the backlink. Okay, again, using this just gives you a ton of data. Again, you can track as many prompts as you want, and also tracks the sentiment and the visibility. And that's basically it, guys. I just built this Claude Code script that gets me backlinks like this. DR61 real site with 51,000 a month in traffic, and DR40. Now, these are niche specific. So what this Claude Code prompt does is it takes a look at your site, does a bunch of cool stuff in the backend, and goes out and finds websites that are willing to give you links. Let me go over how this works first manually, and then how I've automated the whole thing with Claude Code. By the way, if you want the MD file right here, the file that you can upload into Claude to get this running in your PC, I'll just comment the word file and I'll send it over to you. I'll also tell you exactly how to install this. It's super straightforward. At the end, I'll just give you like a 2-minute tutorial on how to what to do with a file once you have them. So yeah, just comment the word file and I'll send it over. And at the end of the video, you can check exactly how you can upload this file and have it run in your PC. Now, what is this actually doing? So what this does is it takes a look at your niche. So in this case, I just chose dog grooming, and you'll notice that these are in the dog grooming, so the dog niche, so the pet niche, and this one as well. So this is on purpose, right? Again, in the pet industry, because I just wanted to find links for a client of ours who is in the dog grooming niche. And so I want to find, okay, let me use Claude to see if I can find him the best links possible. And so now what I'll do is I'll get in touch with these guys and ask, hey, by the way, how much you guys charge for a link on your site? Then I'll take the payment from the client and I'll just pay these guys and I'll make the margin. By the way, I'm always super transparent with this. Like literally, if you go here to resources, build backlinks, I charge $150 per backlink. Hopefully this loads. This is the exact process I do. Like I go in and negotiate with these guys or whichever other guys I want to negotiate with, and I'll just keep the margin however much they charge me minus this right here, and that's how much money I make. So the whole process right here, like I find you DR40 plus backlinks, real traffic, 1,000 plus in traffic, and yeah, this is basically the whole process. I used to do this manually. Now I just do it with Claude, and I want to go over exactly how you guys can do it as well. It does take some time because oftentimes like it doesn't really give you a proper output. But with that long-winded intro out of the way, let's just break down how this works. So what this is doing in the backend, right? It's taking a look at all of these right here. It's taking a look at all of these little prompts. What this is, for example, stuff like, I just go here into Google. This is literally what Claude is doing that I used to do manually, by the way. And it just does, I don't know, pet grooming, right? It takes a look at, it types in URL, guest posts, and then your niche, right? And then it finds, like this siphons through for websites that allow for guest posts in their sites. Let me just properly give you another maybe better example. Let's just do, for example, plastic surgery, right? This little prompt, as well as all these other ones, right, allow me to skim through these right here and find, okay, which of these guys accept niche edits, guest posts? So these guys accept guest posts. Okay, cool, interesting site. Let me just see. I think I mentioned this in a past video, actually. I think I mentioned these guys as well, because I gave this an example. Let's see if these guys are actually decent or not. So I think the DR of these guys are quite low. DR 10, decent. I mean, good enough link, I guess. Not good enough for my my requirements, which is at least DR40. So this is the process that I used to do manually, right? I'll literally go here, use these prompts right here. And by the way, you can also comment the word file. I'll send over the MD file. I was going to say that you could comment as well file to get these, but I don't think I mean, just screenshot your screen and just go into ChatGPT and ask it, hey, take this screenshot and put it like in text format. That being said, you don't need to have this. I'm just showing you the back end of the prompt, because literally you should just get the MD file, this right here, which I'll send it over to you. These are already inside that file, so you don't need those unless you want to do them manually. In case you want to do this work manually, you can by getting these right here. But again, what it's doing, it's running through. I'm giving Claude Code my niche, right? And it's taking in all these prompts right here and replacing the word niche, your niche, right, with the niche you just gave it, okay? Or variations of the niche I just gave it. And then what it found, right, was these two sites right here, DR61, DR40, the ones that I just opened right there. These two, let's see if I can find them again. This one, okay, and this one, right? SKC USA and lostpetsresearch.com. It's these two right here again, and they can even click here and it sends me directly to the guest posting or the Write for Us page, right? So it tells me, okay, submission requirements, 500 to 1,000 words, Word document. Okay, cool. They don't talk about pricing, I think. Yeah, they don't. Okay, there you go. There are requirements, and this as well gives me the requirements. They don't talk about pricing as well, right? Needs to cover topics such as these. So basically, what these are, I'll usually pages on these guys' site that say, by the way, you can pay us. We'll post a guest post or a niche on our site. Here's the requirements. Send us over an email and let's get going. Then what I do, I just go here to the contacts email, send them an email saying, hey, by the way, here's the guest post I wrote. Takes into account all these requirements. Please post it on your site and tell me how much you guys charge. Literally, that's literally what I do. Literally what I do with this service right here. Now, the good thing with this Claude prompt is that it takes and does it all for you automatically. Let's just do again. By the way, because I have the MD file installed, I can just ask it for example, find guest posts in the plastic surgery niche. Oh, by the way, this is connected with Ahrefs API. So there you go. That's why it's pulling in this data. But you don't necessarily need to connect it with Ahrefs API. Reason why I do is because if you don't, it will give you a lot of trash sites, right? Because you won't know how much the VR is. So it can give you like sites with VR 10, 5, and I don't really have interest in that. And so Ahrefs API is kind of expensive, if I'm not mistaken, excuse me. So again, you can just run the MD file, again, this right here, on your PC without the Ahrefs API connection. Just tell it like, just forget the API, just run it without the API connection. And again, the only downside is that maybe it's going to give you a couple more, but then you're just going to have to filter them out and see for yourself if you think they're good or bad. Again, all it's doing right here, it's searching the web, literally, with all these prompts, multiple of these prompts. It's searching the web for all these right here, the ones that I just told you on here that I gave to it, right? It's doing the exact same work that I used to do manually, fully automated. Okay, so search done, compile 16 unique candidates for domains, and then it's going to filter through and find the ones who have the requirements that I sent them for my DR, which is DR over 40 and a couple more things. And again, this is literally what I do right here with this service. So if you have time, well, do it yourself. If you don't have time, just want me to do it for you, well, just pay me right here to do it for you. Because I know it sounds simple. I guess it is simple. It's not easy, but it's quite simple. I mean, you guys just watch the video all the way through and you guys understand what this is all about. So it's pretty straightforward. And I guess before I close out, when you do comment towards a file and I send you this, well, what you have to do is pretty straightforward. Okay. Let's just close this for now. I'll just show you the output in a bit. You just have to go to your desktop, hit new folder, just name this backlink research, okay? And then once you're in Claude, right, make sure that you're on the Claude code, not the chat, not this one right here, the code, excuse me, and then start a new code window, right? And then make sure, actually, I guess since this is done, let's just wait for this. There you go, results, one site passed the filter. So again, it found 16 unique ones, but only one passed my filter for sites that I think are decent enough, okay? And there you go, redefine in, let's see what this is all about, right, for US healthcare. And there you go, again, there's the whole requirements right here. And if I take this and if I paste this into Ahrefs, I can see what this site is all about. Let's see here, DR35, real traffic, mostly from India, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Oftentimes people associate these, I guess, third world countries, or not third world, but less developed countries with spam. And oftentimes it is, but not always. So just be wary of that. This is not necessarily a bad site. From the looks of it, looks quite decent. Let me see the keywords it ranks for. This is basically the whole analysis I do. There's no like casino keywords right here, so at first glance looks decent. This is basically what I do, and this is what this MD file can do for you as well. Or if you just want to hire me, resources, backlinks, I can do the exact same thing. There's a whole process right here. Literally, find the sites, get in touch with them, and then just deliver on a report, and then with all these metrics, it's pretty cool. But again, once this is done, what you do, right, as I was saying before, once you created your file, just go here to Claude Code, hit a new window, right, and make sure that the folder right here, open folder, select the one you just created right there, desktop, backlink research, hit open, and so now all the work you do is going to be saved to this folder, okay? And so then you just take the MD file, this right here, okay, and put it inside that folder, and there you go. So then now, once you're in this new window, right here, with the, where is it? Your main file open, like you literally can speak with it and say, hey, find me backlinks for the niche, whatever, go. And it'll just do it. It has the context inside of the file to be able to do that. That's basically it. And so this is a pretty cool automation, I think, because it just saves me a ton of time. Previously, I'd have to go and type these prompts and do a long type of manual work. And I still do it, honestly. Like this isn't like the holy grail. It does help a bit. It's quite decent. It's not gimmicky at all. It does provide a lot of value. But I want to make sure that the links I build for my brand and for my clients' brands are top tier. That's why I use a combination of Claude with manual work. And again, if you want to do the same thing, if you just don't want to pay me for this work and you want to do it yourself, comment the word file. I'll send you the MD file and you can just do it inside your Claude and find these links. Then again, you also have to then after finding the links, go in here and negotiate with them and all that cool stuff. But yeah, there we go. That's it. I just built a Claude SEO prompt that gives me high DR backlinks on autopilot. Here's the prompt, by the way, and here's the backlinks that it built. It built me a DR71 backlink, as you can see right here, DR61, DR58, DR46. All of these backlinks were built for free. Here's a couple more. Double DR61 right here. The prompt I'm using within Claude was able to get me all these backlinks without paying a single dollar. This page has 19 backlinks. Highly powerful backlinks, high DR. This one has 3, one of DR71 and one DR28, and this one has 3 as well, one DR61. All these built off free. And by the way, these come from relevant sites. So not only are the backlinks powerful, they're also relevant. And in this video, I'll show exactly how you can do it too, because honestly, it's quite simple and I don't see anyone talking about this. Maybe people are gatekeeping it. I don't know. I'll just give it away for free because that's what I do on this channel. So let's break it down. Now there's a method for this, and this works for any niche, any language. I don't care what you sell. It works for everything. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly step by step how you can do this. Again, I did not pay for these links. Now there's some links I pay for. I didn't pay for any one of these, right? this page right here has 19 backlinks, and a bunch of them like are super high authority and also relevant, because if you watch this channel in the past, you know that the best backlinks you can possibly have are ones that are both powerful, of course, and relevant. By powerful, I mean essentially high DR, high traffic, and we'll go over this in a bit. And relevancy, I mean, it's, for example, this page, like we sell an AI SEO software, right? And these guys who are linking to us are also in the marketing space. And I'll dive deep into this right here. I just want to tell you that, again, these are all free and they're both powerful and relevant backlinks. Okay, now how do you get them? Well, first things first, you might have noticed that this one, so these are the pages where I'm getting links from, and this one are all statistical. So I'll just open it right here real quick. All these ones right here. Open this up and open the last one. You'll notice that there's a pattern right here, and this is very important because this is also how we're going to get the backlinks. So again, I'm getting 19 backlinks to this page, right? AI content marketing statistics, right? What's this one? ChatGPT statistics. What's this one? Blogging statistics. So they're all the same type of article. They're statistical based content. Now, why does this matter? Well, for two main reasons, right? The reason why these guys with the VR61 link to us, these guys with the VR71 right here link to us. And by the way, these are real sites. Right? There's not just some shady sites. Real sites, real businesses, real companies. Right? All these right here are real. Just open this right, click right here. All of these are real domains, real businesses. They sell real stuff. Okay. Reason why they link to us, it's two reasons. Okay. Two reasons. First one is because, and this is only sort of possible in the AI age, is because a lot of the content people are producing is automated, right? This right here, I don't know if this was written by a human or a robot. I don't know. Most likely a robot, right? And what do robots do? Well, if you use any software like any AI writing software, even if you use like Arvo, for example, my own software, right? When we do generate content for you, optimize content to rank, is to add external links. So when we're producing a piece of content, I'll show you here an example. When we're producing a piece of content like this one, right here, we add external links to cite some of the sources or some of the info we mentioned, so to add to the article, right? There's internal links linking out to other pages on our site. This links out to our agency page on Arvo, right? But there's also, of course, images, etc. There's also external links linking out to the tools you mentioned, or linking out to whatever. Like we have external links to make the piece of content even better, right? And these external links are placed in here, again, if you're using an AI writer, by AI, okay? So one of the reasons, I mentioned there were two. One of the reasons is because since a lot of the external link placement on articles, on content is done by AI, right? AI tends to favor linking out to content that is in depth, that is data backed, that is actually valuable, right? This is a whole data warehouse of valuable data. Like it's very, very long with valuable data. So AI wants to link to this. AI wants to link to this. AI wants to link to this. That's why this has 19 backlinks from high powerful domains, because most likely this was written by AI and AI placed in here the external links. And this is the link that links out to us. There you go. Okay. So that's the first reason. Now, I'm not saying that this is all done with AI. It might not be, right? Even if it isn't, right? Pieces of content like this, right, are often linked to. These are also called linkable assets, right? Because it takes a lot of work, or I guess it used to take a lot of work to build something like this, a statistical-based content, because you'd have to, if you wanted to make a stats-based content for whichever thing you sell, like I don't care if you're like a dog groomer, you sell e-commerce, like sell physical products, or an agency, it doesn't matter what you sell, right? You'd have to take in the data from all across the web, all these multiple sources, and aggregate all this data into your article, right? That's why these were hard to make, right? Now they're easier. And next week, I'm going to give you something that's super powerful, that's even harder to make, that AI can't really do it as of now. So it's going to be the next big thing. We'll just stick with this right now because I don't see anyone doing this, honestly. Most people have no idea that this even exists, and most people aren't even doing this. So if you're watching this right now, you're, I guess, ahead of the curve. And if you do actually do this, I'll show you how you'll be able to build a ton of backlinks, valuable backlinks. But again, you used to have to aggregate all the data and put it onto the posts, right? Data that could be like hidden in like government sites, PDFs, downloadable files would be a pain in the butt. But now you can just do it with AI quickly, easily, and then just aggregate all this data here. And again, these are linkable assets. That's reason two. You're building linkable assets, places people want to link out to, right? Again, robots automatically do it, most cases, but people also want to do it, right? because this is not an article promoting my tool. This is not an article promoting that Arvo is the best AI tool out there. It is not. It's not promoting that. It's just literally stating what it is, like stating what it's like literally a data piece. So it's not promoting anything in particular. It's just literally a data piece, right? So oftentimes people and other sites prefer to link to data pieces that don't sell my product than just something that sells your product. Hopefully that makes sense. So this is much more of a linkable asset right here than, for example, let's see. Then, for example, I don't know, this right here, 5 local SEO tips to rank first on Google, because this literally is a piece promoting how Arvo can help with local SEO. So even though this can get links, most likely people would prefer to link out to these because they're sort of neutral. So with that long and winded intro out of the way, how do you do it? Well, we're going to be using a Claude master prompt. And if you want the prompt, just comment the word prompt and I'll send this over. This is a very, very long prompt with the goal to allow you to produce a similar piece of content. Now, once you have the prompt, again, just comment the word prompt. All you have to do is here in my input, just type in the topic for the statistic roundup, okay? In this case, I just chose online remote work, okay? Target year, 2026. Your site for brand contacts and internal linking. So I just put here a site. I just typed in on Google, let's see here, remote work. I just chose, I think, where is it? I don't even remember. I'll just open this up real quick right here so you guys can see. I just chose just random site that talks about remote work, right? And I feel like they could get a bunch more traffic if they had like stats-based content. They could build a bunch more backlinks. Because by the way, when you have a DR71 backlink, when you have a bunch of these high DR backlinks, well, by default, your DR, the domain rating of your site, will also increase right here. This also increases, and this is a complex algorithm. It's not just because you have more backlinks that this will increase. It does help. There's multiple factors, but having backlinks and strong backlinks does help move this up the ladder. That does help increase this, and there's a correlation between how high this is and how well or how easy it is to rank for multiple keywords, and thus how much traffic you can get. Okay. Now, again, just put the site right here, and then anything else you want to worth knowing, and then just hit enter. Now, I'm using Claude's latest model. It's one of the more expensive ones. You don't need to do it. Just know that this will take a while. Again, so doing some proper analysis on the current domain. For example, for some reason, this is throwing me this error. I'm not sure why. Again, it's going to take a while. When you do run this prompt, it's going to take around 5 minutes to run. So yeah, you just comment the word prompt, and I'll send this over so you guys can actually give it a go. But as you can see, it's like going pretty in depth on all this. It's a very, very, very long prompt with multiple steps, analyzes a lot of stuff. Your site, the keyword, looks for, okay, which stats would make sense here to produce an article around that could lead people to build backlinks for us, right? Looks through all the places where you can find stats on, aggregates everything, right? And then just, again, doing the whole thing right here in front of your eyes. Just comment the word prompt and I'll send it over to you guys so you guys can get it started. So I'll just wait for this to load and I'll be right back once it's done. Okay, and it is done. So the output of this prompt is going to be a couple of things, okay? And you guys can read this once you guys run the prompt to see that actually this is, I mean, the output might look underwhelming, but because, I mean, this is quite simple, but you don't see what's behind this, like the whole research you had to do to come up with these two things. Now, what these two things are is it gives you a generation prompt, okay? It gives you a markdown outline. Now, what the markdown outline is, in essence, is just the structure of the content. So for example, right here, you see that the structure of the content is pretty much, there you go, let me just quickly show this right here, is, right, little intro, then key takeaways, and a table of contents, and like H2, little intro, table with the stats, right? There's some structure to these stats-based articles, right? So again, this right here is the structure it felt like it made sense to do based off of the input you gave it, which in this case we gave it an input as the topic stats for our online remote work 2026, and for this domain right here. So again, this will depend, right? The structure will depend on the input you give it, okay? And this right here, the generation prompt, it also depends on the input you give it, okay? And by the way, you'll notice that there's some variables right here in the markdown outline, because this will allow you to produce or to bulk produce multiple stats articles for multiple years, multiple topics, okay? But we'll go into this in a bit. Now, what you do with this to generate the content is you just go to Arvo right here, click on content, click on campaigns in our blog, click on any campaign right here, click on article templates, and we're going to create a custom template, right? Then you just click here, copy this generation prompt onto this right here, scroll down, copy the markdown outline onto this right here, enable outline, boom. By the way, there's also internal linking tab, which this gives you data on which internal links it thinks it makes sense to link out to, because again, of course, right, we want internal links as well as external links. And you can just set this up right here in the internal linking tab. I'll just do it real quickly right here. I'll just do the whole thing. I want like, let's just paste in this right here. I won't just do these ones right here. I'll just do the ones, I'll just do all, I'll just let the AI choose. And what this is, by the way, if you don't know, like a sitemap is just a Bible of all the pages on your site. Okay, so we'll see in a second right here. This gives us literally all the pages on our site. And when using this custom template, it will allow us to link out to any of these pages when it best sees fit. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, so there you go. Hit general and hit save. This is longer than 5K words. I'll just quickly trim this a bit. And by the way, while I trim this, you'll notice that again, there's this right here, methodology and sources. It's already saying, hey, here's add a bullet list of the primary cited sources in this article. Because again, if it's a stats-based article, you have to put in where you found the stats on, right? So again, this is all very, very well done. And I'm excited to show you the output once I just trim this out a bit. Okay, there you go. Just hit save and then go here to stats and we'll just do topic, online remote work. These are the variables, by the way, year 2026. And the good thing about this is that you can basically import from file multiple variables if you want to generate multiple articles at once, or you can just do, depending on of course what the stat that is that you're doing, you could do one every year, one for past years, right? You can just play around with this. That's why these variables are important. Then add article, and already generated this quickly so you guys can see this is the output. Okay, online remote work stats for 2026, 50 plus data points on adoption, productivity, and the future hybrid. So all this is done with AI. Little intro, key takeaways, and then yeah, just a simple stats article with tables, graphs, images, internal links, external links, all this done for you. And here at the bottom, right, there are the sources we found the info on. Now, I made it on purpose so that we didn't have links to all these. I'm still tweaking the prompt. So if you guys comment the word prompt, I'll send over the prompt. Maybe it is updated so that these all have links, but I'm not sure if I want to have links on all these ones right here because they're just too much. I'll think about it. But again, this is the amazing output of this article. It's a stats-based article, and this will get you links. As we talked in the beginning, these are the exact same pieces of content that got us these links for free. DR61 links, DR58, DR71 backlinks for free. It's the exact same pieces of content you're seeing right here. Stats-based content. Again, this used to take so long to do. Now it's easy because AI just does the whole research for you, as you saw before with Claude. It did the whole research for you. And then we're instructing Arvo with these custom article templates right here to do the same thing. Now, if you know Arvo, right, you know that there's the classic SEO articles, but these don't give you enough customization. Like these article templates can do so much cool stuff. I think in a past video I talked about this right here, this mega custom template, which is so cool as well. So I recommend you watch this when you have time. I'll leave a link in the description for this one. But yeah, this is literally how you get the backlinks. So comment the word prompt and I'll send over the prompt, and you too can do the same thing, and you too can get these backlinks. And by the way, I only posted 3 articles like this, and I got, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let me just quickly put this here by one group, one link per domain, right? Because that's all that matters, honestly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 backlinks, powerful backlinks, by the way, off of just 3 articles. With this, you can literally bulk and do ones for multiple years, multiple niches, multiple months, multiple, I don't know, types of people, women, men, kids, I don't know, there's infinite options, right? So you can put out a lot more stats-based articles, and this works for any niche. Even if you're a plumber, a lawyer, an e-commerce store that sells wallets, I don't care. This works for any niche, and you'll notice when you get the prompt that it'll work for any niche, okay? So that's it. That's how you build the backlinks. If you don't want to have all this work, and if you just want me to build backlinks for you, well, you can go to arvo.com, scroll down to the bottom, and there's a service where I, myself, Vasco, manually build links for you. Just quite hidden down here. If you click on link building service, it's basically me. There's a video here going over all this stuff. I build backlinks for you. These are $150 a pop. They're quite expensive because they're just that good. Okay, there's a couple of case studies right here you guys can check out. So if you want me to build backlinks for you, there's a form right here you guys can fill, and there's some guarantees as well, powerful backlinks, traffic, etc. So if you want to do it yourself, just do it that way. If you want me to do it for you, I'll just build the backlinks right here for you automatically. Let me show you how I'm using Claude Code to build SEO backlinks for me on autopilot. It all stems from this mega prompt, and if you want this prompt, just comment the word prompt and I'll send that over to you. Now, a bit of context first before we start, like what's backlink here and how are we building these backlinks? So when you go into ChatGPT or any other LLM, right, and you ask it something, for example, what's the best fish food for better fish, right? There's the answer, and then there's product recommendations, and then there's, of course, the brands, right here, the recommends, right, and then the sources, right, where those brands are mentioned in, right? And sometimes, sure, the brand mention is the same as the citation, right? But sometimes it isn't. For example, this site, Petco, is recommending a different brand. So again, sometimes the brand mention is the same as the citation source, but sometimes it isn't. For example, for this prompt, what's the best AI SEO software for agencies, right? There's a bunch of them right here, this one, and there's a bunch of them, right? And of course, in a lot of cases, like the brand is the same as the citation, but in a lot of cases, it isn't. Let me just find an example. If we look here at the citations, right, this brand right here, Impulse AI, right, recommends the best 6 ones. And if we click here, most likely, like a lot of the brands that are mentioned right here are cited from this source, which has a lot of these brands mentioned right somewhere around here. There you go. So there you go. So there's a correlation, of course, between the brand mentions and the citations that mention those brands. And so what's our goal here? Well, the goal is to develop this Claude prompt using Claude Code, which I'll go over how to install. It's super simple, right? That finds, right, the prompts you need to be searching for, because again, the whole goal is to have your brand show up here, right, for whichever prompt you want. But of course, you want your brand to show up for the right prompt, right? It's just like Google, right? You want to rank first for the right keywords, right? You don't want to rank first for irrelevant keywords. So with the LLMs, right, you want to show up, you want to be mentioned, you want to get cited for the right prompts. So first, this Claude Mega prompt will give you a list of prompts, right, you should be searching for in these LLMs, right? Then it will skim through the brands and then find these citations, right? And then it will try and find the contact info on here to reach out to these guys so that they can include your brand right here. Because again, if let's say you want to rank for this prompt right here, and you see all these brands being mentioned, and you see that they're being mentioned because they appear in citations like these ones, right here, right? So what's the point here? The point is that, okay, if you know that for this prompt, these brands show up, and they show up because they're mentioned right here in this type of content, well, your goal is to reach out to these guys and say, hey, by the way, I noticed that you've included all these brands right here. How much would you charge to include mine here as well? And by the way, most times these guys won't even know why you're asking this. They don't have to know that the reason why you want your brand to be mentioned right here is because this domain is being cited for the prompt you want to rank for. Most likely they won't even know, because this stuff is hard to track, right? But that's the whole goal, right? Making a list of prompts, right? Finding out which brands are cited for this prompt, why they're being cited because of the citations right here, citation list, and then reaching out to these guys and say, hey, get me on there. And that's exactly what this mega prompt does with 5 steps, step 1 through 5. Step 1 is basically generating the target prompts, right? And by the way, like, don't just rely on this for the prompts. You can also, like, you know better than anyone else, because you're the owner of your business, which prompts you'd like to be mentioned first for, if that makes sense, right? Then it finds the cited pages, right? Then it scrapes the contact info off of those pages, and then it writes out outreach emails, and then all you have to do is just click send. Now, we could make a mega optimized prompt where it will send out emails for you, and that's possible, but I think that's a bit overkill, because the time you'll spend on doing that is just time you could just spend sending emails. But if you want, like, you guys comment the word, I don't know, email, I can make this a more powerful prompt. But yeah, I don't think that's necessary. By the way, if you want this prompt, comment the word prompt, and I'll send that over to you, okay? So before we do that, though, let me just go back here. Actually, let's just run this on the side. Yeah, let's go. And I'll show you how this is going. It's going to take a little bit of a while, because it's 5 steps, and it's going to analyze my brand first. I just gave it my brand name right there, the site, domain, where we are, and the target audience. You do this for your own brand, okay? So let's just let it go to work, and we'll be back in a few seconds. Now, small call to action is, if you want to track this stuff right here, you can go to Arvo, click Analytics and Reports, click LLM Brand Monitors, and this basically allows you to add your brand right here, right? And you can track for however many prompts you have, right? You'll track if your brand shows up in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, Claude, right here. So it tracks if your brand shows up in all these LLMs, right? Then the sentiment, so if in fact your brand shows up if they're saying good or bad things about you, and then you can track it. Like you can give it as many prompts as you want. You can even bulk import prompts for it to track. You can add them manually if you guys want. And then it'll tell you, for example, for the prompt, how to automatically generate and publish articles from my blog. I can click this and I can see, okay, which LLMs mention my brand? Only one, only Perplexity. And it has a neutral sentiment. And I can click even further to see where my brand is mentioned in, and we're mentioned right here in a bullet. Now, for example, for the prompt, is Arvo the best AI SEO software? I can click this, and of course, all LLMs will mention it because the brand is inside the prompt, so it makes sense that all the LLMs mention it. But for example, for Grok says, no, we're not the best ones. And it used to have a negative sentiment. Now it's neutral, but still a bit negative. But it says, no, we're not the best ones. And the way in which you change this is by, okay, let's just look at these citations and either get in touch with them and see if we can change the sentiment on there, or create new similar citations to try and change the LLM sentiment. So you can use this to track all this stuff if you guys want. Now, going back here, let me just allow this stuff. Again, by the way, this is super easy to install. You just go into Google and type in Claude Code, download, right? It's the very first one. If you're on a Mac, just download the Mac version. If you're on Windows, just download the Windows version, then just log in as you would in your regular Claude account. Now I'm using the paid version, which again, you can use the free version. It is okay, right? Paid version is always better because they can go deeper. You can do this more often. You can spend more credits. But again, this will work with the free version too. Regardless, again, it's just thinking, going through the whole thing for you automatically, and the output is going to be an Excel sheet with all this info on, which then we'll take and we're going to re-prompt this again so you guys can see the proper output. And again, by the way, you can do all this manually. Like literally, I can just go here and say, let's say I wanted very much to rank for this prompt. I can literally go here and get in touch with these guys. Literally, most likely I can find their contact info down here. I'm sure, right? There you go, contact us. And I can literally say, hey, guys, I love this post of yours. How much do you guys charge to put me on there? And by the way, like, even if they all say no, even if all these people say no and they don't want you like to be, or they don't even bother with doing that, well, what you can do is you can take a look at the citations, right? Take a look at the type of citations, right? If for a certain prompt, the type of sources that are getting cited are all like listicles, like top 5, whatever, top 2, whatever, basically listicles, well, then you know that most likely, if you want your brand to be mentioned right here, then you have to have it be mentioned in a citation that's a listicle type thing. Just like with Google, right? If you go on Google, type in how to tie a tie, right? Google tells you what it wants. It wants short form videos. Why? Because they're up top. It doesn't want blog posts, okay? So LLMs are the same thing, right? They tell you what they want. So if for a certain prompt, all the brands that are being mentioned right here are because of the citations being all a certain type of listicle article, right? News article, comparison page, alternative page, it doesn't matter what, just the type of content, right? It tells you what it wants. So right here, if you're not ranked for this keyword, how to tie a tie, I would most likely produce a short form piece of content. I would never produce it like a blog post, because why would I? Google is telling me that they want short form. So it's the exact same thing with LLMs. Depending on your prompt, right, the LLM will tell you what it wants. For example, for this prompt right here, what's the best fish food for better fish? I live in NYC. You need something that I can order and get it this week, right? Look at the sources, right? Look at all the sources. What are these sources? And can we replicate these types of sources? Well, the first one is a listicle, 7 better fish facts, okay? A listicle on facts about fish. Okay, that's good. What else we have right here? Then we have a product listing, another product listing, another product listing, another product listing, and a sort of blog post about fish. So this tells you that there's a mix. Again, I haven't done a proper analysis on this, but this tells you that there's a mix, of course, on product listings, and then blog articles with listicles and info-based content. So this gives me a lot of information, right? A lot of information, because now I know that it will increase my chances of my brand showing up right here. Given the types of citations that are being pulled in for this prompt, I need to produce similar type of content like this. Hopefully that makes sense so far. Something else you can look at is, for example, this right here is Reddit. Like how much, whatever better food should I feed my Reddit, right? You can take this, the intent behind this, and produce a full-on blog article about it, right? So you can take the intent, same thing for the video, right? You can take the intent of this video, right, and convert it into a blog post like this, right? You can take the intent of the cited sources and convert it into a different medium of consumption, but the intent is still there, and that helps as well, okay? And by the way, quick plug, if you wanted to, you can just take this right here. If this has a transcript, right, we can just go into Arvo and convert this into a blog post quite easily. Now you can fully automate this with the API if you guys want, but that's a video for another time. You can just go here, boom, blog automation, just select a random campaign, YouTube to blog post, paste in the video, add video, and this will basically convert or allow me to convert. I can give it like a couple of settings. I can choose the language, custom instructions. I mean, I won't go over this right now. Then just hit generate. And by the way, I mean, you can configure this however much you want. Like there, we allow you to give just so much levels of configuration, language, target country, point of view, formality, advanced options, knowledge base. You can even upload your knowledge, your brand's knowledge into Arvo so that the AI is able to write brand tailored content, non-AI slop, formatting, structure, calls to action, article length, internal linking on the articles, external linking, images, videos. I mean, the whole we give you as much customization as possibly can. And so again, you can convert this into a article using Arvo. Then you can just post it straight to your site if you guys want. I'll just quickly show you that. There you go. So you have added an image, embedded a video, of course, then converted the all info into an article. And if there's something you don't like or you feel like it's incomplete, you can just select parts of the article and say, okay, add links. Again, this is a bit more manual. I want to show you full automation, but this is a bit more manual. Excuse me, if you guys want. You'll just filter through the paragraph you selected in accordance with the context of the article as a whole, and allow you to add external links to this, right, as you saw before. And you can sprinkle in your keywords, rewrite things, make it a list, make it short, make a table, custom prompt it, or you can even use the AI assistant to just basically speak with it. And this is as if, you just use ChatGPT. You can just basically give it a prompt right here, and we'll change the whole thing as you guys want. And you can just publish this straight to your site because, of course, Arvo connects straight with your CMS, so you can publish these articles straight to your site. Or, of course, we can speak about the API later if you guys want. But let's go back here into this. Let's just allow right here. Now, if you don't want to do allow every single time, you can just enable this right here, auto accept edits. I'll just be careful because with this, it might spend more credits than you actually want. But if you just wanted to go do it straight, like without having you to allow all this stuff, which I'll do right now, just enable this setting right here. Boom, accept. Auto accept edit, so it'll just be a bit faster because it'll just auto accept stuff in the backend. Okay, and again, while this loads, looks like it didn't really work for whichever reason. Let's go again. All right, and we'll just wait for this to load, and I'll be right back. But as you guys can see, it's like doing a proper. For some reason, this is not really working. But as you guys can see, it's doing a proper. Come on. A proper full-on analysis, in-depth analysis. It's been running for 9 minutes now. So it's a proper in-depth analysis. Now, it's going to take you a few tokens. And again, if you just want to do this manually, you can. The cool thing about this is that it can do it fully automated for you. Now, again, while this keeps on running, speaking of automation, I want to show you one more thing while this goes. Actually, never mind. Let's just see it working right here. So it says, good, now I have the contact info for all 3 pages. Let me compile everything in the CSV with the outreach email. So again, it did the whole thing. Search the data, like launch 3 parallel agents to scrape contact info, right? Based off of the initial prompts, right? In this case, for example, again, based off of my business, it told me that the prompts that would make sense that I want my brand to show up for would be these ones. And it makes sense. What's the best AI SEO software tool in 2026? Well, I'd say I'd want my tool to show up for that, because we're the best one, right? As biased as I am. Or for example, best software to improve Google rankings. Again, this is tied in with who my ICP is, my ideal client profile, right? My brand, my business, right? And it knows that because it went to my site, browsed my site, analyzed the whole thing, then went in and found the competitors, right? And then came up with all these prompts. Then based off of these, it put these prompts, right? Now let me search for the Pages LLMs pool for each one of these prompts. So it automatically put in these prompts in the LLMs, right? And looked for all the sources that were being cited for that, right? Which has gathered data, went through those pages, found the contact info. Now it's going to put everything here in a CSV, which I'll open it up right here for you guys. As you can see, it found 30 backlinking opportunities across 10 target prompts, 3 per month. Direct emails found 8, contact pages found 22, aiming sites for page URLs, domains found covered 27, and then give me the highest priority targets most likely to convert. And there you go, boom, all down right here. Right, let me just quickly open the CSV for you guys. And there we go. So target prompt right there, page title, URL that shows up that's being cited for that prompt, or one of them, the domain, contact info, and then the outreach email, right? And each one of these is personalized to each single one. As you can see, right, for example, this one says it found your 16 best SEO tools piece, right? Which is, of course, the piece right here is on the 16 best SEO tools. So again, each stuff is tailored to each one of these each one of these pages that are getting cited for the prompts I want to show up for, right? And then again, you can just use any other automation software to just fully outbound these emails, or you can just do it manually. however you choose. Nowadays, you can basically automate everything, every single thing you guys want. I could literally go to the infinite and automate the whole thing, but I feel like so far, or this is decent enough. I feel like if you guys want to figure out how to automate email sending, you guys can, but this is pretty cool. So again, if you want the prompt, just comment prompt and I'll send that over to you guys. And that's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much the whole thing done. So again, to recap, right, for whichever prompt you put in here, right, you look at the brands that are being mentioned right here, right, you look at the citation. So the brands that are mentioned right here are being mentioned so because they're being cited, right, somewhere, excuse me, they're being mentioned somewhere, and that somewhere is being cited right here, and the brand is being mentioned because of that. Hopefully that made sense. So now what we have to do is two things: either include ourselves in these citations or create similar citations based on all the ones that are being pulled in right here. Hopefully that made sense. Now the Claude prompt basically allows you to get in touch with these cited sources and trying to get you included in there. But you can also do the other thing, which is again, if all of them say no, well, just go and create your own citations. And by the way, if you're wondering, but saying, hey, yeah, Vasco, but only high powerful domains are mentioned right here, are cited right here. Well, that's not true. Let me just quickly play a clip right here of proof that not only high authority domains are mentioned right here. A lot of non-high authority domains are mentioned right here. So let me just play a quick clip right here. There you go. So as you can see, like not only mega powerful domains are cited right here. So if your site is trash, if like it has a DR of 0 or 1, doesn't matter. You can still get cited if you put out the right information. And for example, you can just even use Arvo for this if you guys want. I can even go here and type in, this is, you just type in, for example, 5 best AI SEO tools for agencies, right? Agency SEO tool, add keywords, and then you can have Arvo generate this for you, right? And I don't think I showed you how the articles look like. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. This is an article on, let's see, the cost of shipping cars cross country. The default template is the title, featured image, table of contents, proper content structure with in-article images, tables, bullets, quotes, in-article videos, internal links, external links, all this done for you automatically. There's a couple more. For example, this is for a financial advisory firm. All this done for you automatically with links to your pages, links to your posts, external links. You can even customize the whole thing. Like, for example, if you want to play with it a bit, I did one for, let's see, for a SaaS company. These ones are for like a LinkedIn growth thing. And I did do ones with like in this anime type style. You can change things around if you guys want. Because again, if you use AI-based images, you can just configure this to be basically anything you want here in the images. If you do choose AI images, you can basically give you custom prompts, retro pixel art, realistic, whatever you want. Again, we give you a bunch of degrees of freedom, and those articles you just saw are the default template, so the default SEO article template. If you want to create new templates, where, say, for example, you want a template that's like an image, then a table, then an H2, then like a listicle, then 3 images, then a video, then a comparison table, then a paragraph. If you want to customize the output of the article itself, the structure, you can go here and create a custom template, which again, you give it a generation prompt, and then the outline, you can choose the outline, and then it just does it for you. For example, for this right here, I made a template for a comparison page between us and a competitor. I just gave it a generation prompt right here, and then the outline, which is basically the structure of the article, right, is a title, then a little paragraph, then an image, then a TLDR section, then a bullet, then a thingy, then the image, then a table right there. So again, I can customize the output of the article if I want. If I don't want to, like, just use the default standard one from Arvo right here. And then of course you can fully automate the whole thing. You just go here to campaign and call this Claude Automation, enable Autoblog, full automation mode. And then this will allow you to automatically have Arvo generate however many articles you want, right? 10 articles every single day, week, hour, month, right? And then basically you have Arvo right here connected straight to your site, automatically generating plus posting articles straight to your site every single day, fully on autopilot. Now for the keyword research and competitor research, you can do it inside of our Arvo as well, or you can just use Claude for that, which I'll leave a link for the video on that in the description, how you can fully automate the whole thing and use Claude plus Arvo for Claude for the research, then Arvo for the generation publishing. I'll leave a link for that in the description and also link it at the end of this video, okay? If you guys want to do that, you can. But this video is about backlinks and link building, and hopefully by looking at this prompt and giving a go at this prompt yourself, you can basically have this done for you, automatically giving you the emails. So then you just have to outreach to the guys and get the links there. But again, in case you can't, right, in case all of them say no, well, then go out and produce your own citations, and you can use Arvo for that, right? You can instruct Claude, say, hey, by the way, none of these guys replied. Take a look at the citations and tell me the type of content that's on there. right? Actually, we can just do it live. Okay, so none of these guys replied. So I want you to give me a list of the type of content that's being cited and a table with a keyword and a title. So then I can put this into Arvo and have it generate the content for me automatically. Right, again, in case any of them reply, just create your own. And if you just want to do it manually, you can, or you can just use Arvo to have it bulk generate a bunch of articles straight for you on autopilot, right? You can do it manually as well. You can just go here and add as many rows as you want, and then just do the generation manually, and then publish them slowly to your site, or use the auto blogging feature to have it automatically in the back, be constantly generating and publishing articles straight to your site, right? I'll just stop this right here because I'm not sure if you guys want to see this. Maybe you do. But yeah, Command Word Pro. Actually, there you go. It's already done. So I can just take this right here, go in here, boom. But again, this would be way faster with the API, which Arvo does have an API. So yeah, just do it with API if you're a technical guy. And then again, just do this right here, and then just do as I did before, add the keywords to my campaign, and then just go here and click generate, or just automatically bulk generate all of them if I want, right? I can change the settings, change the language, as you saw before. There's a lot of things we allow you to do. Or again, if you just want to do it fully automated, just do it with API, which you can find right here in the integrations tab, API. It's right there. Just connect the API with Claude and it'll do it just fully on autopilot for you, basically forever. So yeah, that's it. That's what's up. So I built a DR57 backlink to my site using Claude. And no, it's not just by asking it to build backlinks for free, fast, and making no mistakes. This is a dumb prompt. It takes a little bit more work, but I want to show you step by step how you can do it, because I did it and I'm not smarter than you. I think I test more stuff. That's why I find these things. And so yeah, I want to go over exactly how you can build a similar backlink, because I was able to get this free backlink, DR57 backlink, for free just using Claude, okay? Doesn't really matter where it comes from, right? It comes from this business called Avery, right? Doesn't really matter what it does. It's kind of pointless, because the backlink you're going to be building is going to be relevant for your niche. So if you're a local business, a software business, an e-commerce store, an agency, it doesn't really matter what it is, right? The backlink that I'm going to teach you how to build is always going to be relevant to your niche, okay? So here's the step-by-step. Oh, and by the way, here's like where the link is on. It's on this page that it's a proper valuable piece of content, and the link is right here on number 3, right here. Boom, I click this and goes to a page on my site that again has a call to action to my business, a bunch of info, and then again down here another call to action, right? Again, you guys know what Arvo is. It's my business. I'm not really trying to sell you on this, but I need to give you some context on the whole flow, because backlinks are kind of pointless. I mean, backlinks serve two goods, right? Because if you have a link from a DR57 domain, right, pointing to my site, if these guys link to my site, well, cause DR is a metric of trust, right, basically. So the higher the DR, the higher the domain rating, in theory, the easier it is to rank pages on this site, because Google trusts domains with higher DR. Now, DR could be, I could just make a whole video on DR, because it can also be a vanity metric, because this can easily be manipulated. You can literally go on Fiverr.com and type in DR increase service, and you can pay like some Indian $5 to increase your DR to like 60 or 70, right? So it can be manipulated. So do use it as a rule of thumb. Sorry. That being said, like there's no causation, but there's some correlation, right? Usually, the higher the DR, if it's not like a spammy site, and this one is not a spammy site, usually the higher Google's trust on the site. And so if Google trusts this domain right here, well, what happens is that when they link to me, well, some of that trust will pass to me. It's as if like you have a bunch of links from Wikipedia, a bunch of links from Huffington Post, Forbes, etc. These are all brands that are trusted by Google. So if all these link to you, well, that trust, Google will see, okay, we trust Forbes, we trust Huffington Post, we trust BBC, we trust all these brands, right? So if they link to this site right here, well, this, which is your website right here, is also a trusted brand in Google's eyes. And that trust helps you rank higher, helps you get more mentions across LLMs, all that stuff, which is, of course, what's happening with our site right here. Like our site is growing in traffic, is growing in DR, right? And there you go. Let's see right here. Now, you could argue, before I show you the backlink, you could argue that they're only linking to us because our DR is small, but it's not, right? Because usually like this brand is just sending us link juice and traffic for free. Why would they do that, right? Well, on one hand, they want to create a powerful, great piece of content, right, that gets views, that gets cited by LLMs, that gets traffic. But you could also say that, yeah, they're only linking to you because your site is like a DR1 and it's not like a threat to them, right? But no, our DR is quite high. So, but I'll show you how to do this step by step. So let's go through the steps. Okay, so Claude SEO, how to build backlinks automatically. So first things first, step one, it's very important, is choosing the right type of content. So the only reason why these guys with this amazing DR link to us right here, as I showed you before, is because we have the right type of content. And I'm pretty confident that this link would have never existed if we were to produce a different type of content. Let me explain. This article we wrote is a data-based article. So all this is blogging statistics for 2026, 60 plus data points on traffic, income, and AI trends. So this is not as selling our product. We're not selling Arvo, right? We're just basically compiling data throughout the web, right? And putting it in a concise piece of information that can be cited by LLMs or linked out to by other people. So again, we're not really CTAing to Arvo. Sure, there's some CTAs right here, there's this right here, but the main value prop of this piece of content is just putting out that into the world. We're basically taking in multiple data points from multiple sources right here and compiling them into a great piece of content. And that's the main reason why they're linking to us. And you'll notice that most of the links that you'll get for free are links to pages on your site where you don't sell stuff, right? For example, I don't think we even have a link to this, right? People don't link to these case studies, not because they're not available, right? But because it's literally just a huge CTA to our product saying, hey, buy our product, right? People don't link to this. People don't link to our homepage. Like, I mean, some do, but there's way less of an incentive to link to this than to link to a holistic sort of piece of content that's just stats, right? Where we're just pulling in stats, nothing else. And that's the main reason, right? So first things first is choosing the right type of content. So regardless of which industry you're in, e-commerce, agency, SaaS, make a piece of content that's stats based. For example, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So let's say, for example, you sell wallets, okay? Let's say, yeah, you sell wallets, right? Make a list, make a piece of content with the number of wallets sold per country per year. Fancy graphics, tables, like proper valuable, info, excuse me. Now, this piece of content needs to aggregate needs to have multiple data points from multiple different sources. That's what's going to make your post valuable, okay? It's not just because you're rewriting something that you saw data on this one. No, it's you're compiling all these data points into one. That's why this is valuable. And hopefully some of you guys actually do this, because it's insane how valuable this is. And I also, sometimes I feel like I tell a bunch of stuff right here and most of you guys just watch and don't do. But yeah, it's just, it gets a bit frustrating, but I guess it is what it is. It doesn't matter. But trust me, this actually works, right? And I spoke with, I don't want to name drop, but I spoke with some of the biggest SEOs in the space, and that's literally not part of their main strategy. I'm sure the guys that I'm speaking about, you guys know who they are. Think about the biggest SEOs in the space, the ones who are actually doing SEO, have agencies, they have also software companies and YouTube channels. I won't say it anymore. They do this, right? A lot of the posts they have is data-based posts, where they aggregate data based off of multiple studies and compile it in an amazing piece of content. And because it is amazing, because it is so in-depth, compiling data from all around the web, right? It's such a linkable asset. It's such an amazing thing. Excuse me. I want to link to. And by the way, like now in the AI realm, where a lot of the internal and external links are automated. So what I mean, for example, on this article right here, we have links to, let me just give you another example. For example, this is all gonna make sense, trust me. On this article right here, for example, let's see here if I can find one that's a good example. For example, right here, right? On this article right here, which is basically just a conversion of a YouTube video into an article, right? Which again, you can do, by the way, using a feature on Arvo right here. But there's links right here. There's external links, in this case only to these ones right here, but there's external links right here to a blog post on Ahrefs. This is a 404. It's a bad external link. But there's also there's links to brands. There's internal links. There's external links, and these were basically created automatically using AI. So no longer right here, for example, boom, another one. So yeah, I didn't choose this, right? AI was writing my content and chose, hey, I feel like it would be a good idea to have an external. When I mentioned right here, according to Backlink, content research marketing, I think the AI thinks, I think it makes sense to have a link right here to the page or the study that I'm referencing. So it creates an external link to that, right? So my point here, what I'm trying to get at, is that now in the AI age where we humans use AI tools to write content, write the words, and also the internal and external links, the creation of these links in your content, of these external links, and the placement of these external links is automated. So you're leaving it up to the AI to choose where and choose the pages it wants to link out to, right? And when you leave it up to AI, well, AI wants to create the most relevant and the best piece of content. And oftentimes, the most relevant and the best tends to be, from what I'm seeing, articles where you aggregate information. Even this one right here, 65 content marketing strategies. So this is an aggregate of information. Long article, aggregate information, tables, like graphs. It is valuable. Just like this right here. Again, it is an aggregate of information. And AIs love to cite this stuff as sources, right? Because again, AI, when it's writing a piece of content, it needs to cite the sources, whichever source it's mentioning. It could be a listicle, could be a blog post, could be a homepage, could be like even a product page. But oftentimes it's content that's rich with data, because most likely that content that's long-form content, rich with data, is much more reliable because it has info from multiple places, because it's long and AI knows, right? Than thinner content that's not really a stat-based piece of content. Hopefully this is making sense. Hopefully I'm making my point across. This actually works. And again, I'm not the only one doing this. I didn't come up with this stuff. My buddy did. I won't go over who he is because, again, I don't want to, yeah, whatever. So point being, hopefully I made my point across so far, is choosing the right type of content. And the right type of content is data-based content. Data. Full-on spec articles with data points taken from multiple places. And so this brings me to step one, right, which is actually creating the content. Now, this is super straightforward, right? And again, I know that I mentioned like we're going to be creating backlinks, but just like the SEOs back in 2016 said, like the way in which you get backlinks is by producing high quality content. And it is super cliche and people cringe at that, but it's just the reality. Sure, you can buy links, right? People buy links. People even here on Arvo, we literally sell links to our customers. They can literally go here, log into the dashboard and click purchase backlinks. And it can actually purchase backlinks from me, DR 40 plus guaranteed, 1,000 plus in monthly organic search traffic, where I basically literally take your URL, right? Take your link, analyze your niche, and then I actually actively reach out to potential websites in your niche to ask them if we can place a link on their site back to yours. So this works. Like this is called backlink outreach. This works. But another way to build backlinks is just building good enough content that gets links. Now this is hard, but it becomes easier when you produce again this type of content, data-based type of content. And I'll do more videos on this throughout the week and throughout the months, because I truly believe, and again, I have myself as a case study and my buddies as a case study, that this actually works, right? So I spend a lot of time on this step 0, but I feel like it's very important to explain to you why this works. So again, yeah, step 1, just create the content. Now, again, don't just ask Claude, hey, write me an article, about the blog, let's see, men's wallets stats by month across all countries in the world for 2026, stats, purchases by age, whatever. Like, put some effort into this. As cliche as it sounds, like the better your input, the better your output, right? And iterate back and forth. Again, LLMs are iterative pieces of technology, right? It's like a funnel, as I always say. Like, you give it a prompt, it gives you an answer, whichever the answer is, right? You give it a prompt back and forth, until the answer you have is satisfactory to the prompt you want. Now, to build a proper, like a data space-based article, well, you have to give it some insights on what you want to build. So you can literally just take in this right here, like literally just take this URL. I guess I'll leave it in the description. Go to arvo.com/blog, because we know this system or this we know this framework, the way this is structured works. So just take this, copy this, right, and tell it to, hey, base your article structure based on this, right? Then I want you to cite at least 20 sources, add tables and interactive assets to it. Make a draft of just 1,000 words so we can the output. So again, the goal here is to go back and forth with it, right? And interacting with it until you have a great piece of content, right? And I mean, you'll know, just don't be lazy. You'll know when you actually have a great piece of content, right? Don't just, yeah, I mean, there's nothing much I can say. Like you be the judge of your own thing, like look into it and see, okay, is this good enough? I feel like it is. Do some research on other pieces of content with the same, targeting the same keywords or targeting the same title, basically, and see what other pieces of content are out there and do they look good or worse, or better or worse than yours. So be the judge of your own content. Okay, don't just be lazy, right? And yeah, so it will build out the stuff again. Just make sure that it is decent. Then ask it to, if you're doing WordPress, whatever, just say, ask it to, hey, give me this in an HTML or Markdown and Markdown format. This will just allow you to basically just able to just like directly copy paste, into WordPress. So there you go. Again, make sure that this looks decent. Again, take a look at this example, for example, right? Short intro to the point, right? Gives you all the stats that you want to learn, know at the top of the blog, the article, right? Key takeaways section, table of contents, right? That gives you, again, it's data. It needs to get to the point, no fluff, okay? So there you go. That's how you do it. Now, by the way, I'm using a paid version of Claude, and you need to do it because otherwise you won't have enough, not thinking process, but you won't go deep enough to siphon through all the sources it needs to go. And I'm not even sure if it'll just do stuff like this as well. So what you can do as well is you can use Arvo too. Again, I've mentioned this so many times, but you can also use Arvo to do this. You can even just create a custom template if you want right here, and basically just copy the custom template, but copy basically the article format I have and build it out here and just basically mass produce these. You can even set up an automatic blog that runs on autopilot, just name it whatever you want, enable auto blog, full automation mode, and then you just can have this pump out these stat-based articles every single day, week, hour, every month. For example, if you can do 20 a month or 20 a day if you want, you can just basically fully automate the whole thing and put out all these stat-based articles for your niche, right? Of course. Straightly to your website, WordPress, Shopify, blog, whatever, because we connect directly with your CMS. This is a bit of a way to fully automate the whole thing. You can do it manually with Claude, or you can just fully automate the whole thing with Arvo if you want. And then if you want to track its presence on LLMs, you can too as well. If I go here into Arvo, I can see like how our brand is being not only mentioned across all these LLMs. So if we show up in these LLMs, as well as the sentiment, like if we do show up, are they saying good or bad things about us? And I mentioned this before, like for example, for the prompt, auto automatically generate and post articles to my blog. I can click this and I can see, okay, we're mentioned by all these LLMs. We're only mentioned by Perplexity. I can see where right here we show up in a table. And then, for example, for the prompt, is Arvo the best is Arvo, ARVOW, the best AI SEO software in the world? Well, we are mentioned across all these, of course, because we have the word Arvo in the prompt, right? But on Grok, they say bad things about us. They say, no, we're not the best one. So then I can go in and I can produce more content, create more backlinks, and maybe change the sentiment that this LLM has towards us. So you can do this inside of Arvo if you guys want. Now, moving on to step 3, so you know the type of content you have to create that content using Claude or Arvo, doesn't really matter. Just if you want to automate the whole thing, if you want to like bulk mass produce this type of content, just use Arvo. If you want to do it manually, just use Claude. Okay. Now step 2, make minor edits and fix your technical SEO plus publish it to your site. Like as I said here, just ask it to give it an HTML or Markdown format because it's easier than to copy or download the file and put it into your CMS, regardless of which CMS you're using. And if you want to make some minor edits, what you can do instead of, for example, let's say this is the final output. Instead of saying, I don't like what you wrote in the table, change the value to XYZ, or mention this specific brand in paragraph A. So if you want to like change small things in certain paragraphs or in tables or adding an image, etc., it's kind of hard to do it in Claude because like this is not a content editor. So what you can do is you can literally just copy this right here, go to Arvo, articles, new article, right article, new article, and then you can use our own in-article editor. So you can just paste this in here. You can select part of the article. For example, I can select this right here, and I can say add links. While, for example, on Claude, I'd have to say, hey, go into the first paragraph and add some external links to it. Right here, I can just easily select the parts I want, and I can choose the ones I want. I can do my own due diligence and say, okay, I want this, this, and this. There you go. So it's a little bit faster to use this editor. And by the way, I think this is free. We don't even charge for this. And so again, you can change things around. You can, for example, select parts of the article and add keywords. So it's easier to, for example, if you want to sprinkle in your keywords, your brand name into the article in Claude, you just have to say, hey, sprinkle my brand where you think it best fits. Here, you can have a bit more control. You can just say, hey, I want you to sprinkle my brand right here. So Arvo, Arvo business, whatever. So it'll find a way to, if I enter, this doesn't make any sense because it's like a mental article, but if I do it, enter it, find a way. Let's just do, let's just Ridge Wallet, right? Which is one of the very most famous brands of wallets. So I'll find a way to add my keyword inside of the article. In this case, added it right here. So it made it a little bit bigger, but it found a way. It didn't just ram the keyword in there, right? It found the place to add it that it see fit. So again, you have a bit more control. You can do rewrite things, simplify, make it right, make it longer, make it shorter, make it a list, make a table. Even add custom prompts for specific sections. So again, while in Claude, this doesn't really work. This is tailored for editing, and then of course you can go here and publish it straight to your CMS if you want, and add a featured image, add all this cool stuff. You can even use AI to generate the image based off of the article that's written right here. So yeah, you can do all this stuff right here. Add images, add links using the editor for that. Just for some small tweaks, in case you actually want to do these small tweaks, not really necessary, but you can. It's a little bit easier. And yeah, and that's in essence it. Now, important, the content on the page needs to be valuable so it can rank and get surfaced by LLMs and search engines, because it's only when that happens that other people know about the content. Because if this was trash right here, right? If this article was trash, it would never have been indexed on Google. Right? And if it is not indexed in Google, well, there would be no way that these guys knew about it, and there would be no way that they'd link out to us, right? Or if there were humans writing this, or if it was AI writing this, even if it was AI would not be able to have picked this up if this was not indexed. So it needs to be indexed, okay? Now, I don't know if it was a human or AI that wrote this article. Regardless, if it was either, this would have to be indexed. And the way in which this can be indexed is if it's a high quality. Images, internal links, external links, like valuable content, right? That's very important. And it's super white hat SEO-ish to say, but it is just the truth, right? Also, it needs to be statistics-based, because that's what people don't mind linking out to. If it were just a piece of content promoting your stuff, like likelihood of you getting these links is lower, as I said in the beginning. So that's it in essence. So to recap, go in, do a stats-based post, iterate on it, and post it to your site, and just wait. Now, again, the waiting part before was harder because, again, most of the articles like a year ago or 2 years ago were written by humans, so they were slower. Now, because a lot of the content out there is written by AI, right? More content is produced faster, and AI writes the content and adds the internal links to it. So the likelihood of you putting out a stats-based article and it getting a link from somewhere else, external linking out to you, is much higher because the rate at which articles are being produced is much higher. And so the rate at which AI is writing those articles and placing links in those articles to cite and make the article even better is higher. So your chances of getting links are higher. Hopefully this is making sense so far. And they can be even higher if you just use a tool like Arvo to mass produce them, right? Valuable content, by the way, not just AI stop. Valuable content, you just use our auto-blogging tool to just produce stat-based content for your niche. Right? You can literally do this right now. If you want help, let me know. Like, you can just reach out to support and we'll maybe set up a guide for you. But you can literally do this right now. So what I want you to do right now is two things. First is to like the video. And second is to actually try and do this, regardless if you use Claude, Arvo, ChatGPT, it doesn't matter. Just produce a piece of database content. Make sure it's indexed, right? If you're having trouble indexing it, just buy some links off of me, or just, I don't know, build your link. I mean, just go to my channel, this channel, type in on the YouTube channel, backlinks, because there's a free course on this channel how to build backlinks, okay? Which are the same backlinks that you can pay me to build for you. I have two things. I teach you how to build them if you want to do it yourself, or if you don't have time, just pay me to do it for you. But literally, the link building tutorials I have on this channel are the exact same thing I do to build links right here. So again, you can just pay me to do it for you. You can just do it yourself. Regardless, have it indexed, build backlinks if you have to index it faster, and then just wait. But you can increase your chances of having it, of creating more links if you just mass produce this type of content. Yeah, if I, with a VR50 4 can have a link. I'd argue that if you have a lower DR, you can get more links. So yeah, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you want more videos like this. Thank you for watching. Like this video, give it a go, and watch this next. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.